Alright, welcome back everyone. I wish I could say I feel a little bit more refreshed after eating dinner, but to be honest, I actually just feel worse. Just a lot of... Cat, what are you looking at? There's just a lot of, like, really stupid shit going on in my life. It's on full screen mode. I was gonna say, I have my OBS to capture anything full screen, but for some reason it's not capturing this game. Might just have to capture a specific window. OBS. I really fucking hate you sometimes. Love when OBS just refuses to work. That's my absolute favorite. You know what? I don't feel like fucking dealing with this right now. I'm just doing display capture. Alright, so it's been a while since we played Katawa Shoujo. The last time we played this game, we finished up Emi's story. So we've done Rin's story, which a lot of people regard Rin's story as the best that there is in the game. And we did Emi's, which felt somewhere kind of in the middle. And that was kind of like the same consensus that I got from a lot of people, was that Emi's was like middle of the road. So I did a little bit of research, and a lot of people were saying that Shizune's was one of the worst stories in the game. So I feel it's only fair to go from like the best to middle to worst. Obviously I mentioned it before that like the character that I originally wanted was Hanako. So yeah, we got like a bunch of stuff with Emi. I got like one single scene with like Hanako. And then yeah, we have like Rin's story. So yeah, glad to be back. It's been a little bit since we played this game. This is a game that I don't really have to think about, which is why I enjoy playing this one so much. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy, far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in the late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. A breath, I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyways? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah, yes, the note. Slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way shows a bit of initiative. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are the only sign of the time passing in the stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. "Hi, Hisao. You came." A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdropper on a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. "Iwaniko, I got a note telling me to wait here. It was yours?" Damn it, I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result. Pathetic. Yes. I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad it got to you." A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense, I couldn't move a single muscle even if I tried. My heart is pounding now, as if it were trying to burst out of my chest and claim this girl for itself. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. Caconious? I don't really know. Iwaniko flinches over so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself, as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine, and she lazily twirls her long, dark hair around her fingers. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. I stand there motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Hisao? I reach up to massage my throat, but this only sends spikes of blinding pain along my arm. Hisao! My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Hisao! The beating in my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, Iwaniko running towards me, all these fade to black. The last things I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Iwaniko screaming for help and the incessant clatter of the branches above. No matter how many times I read through this intro, the intro is done, like, so well. I'm also always surprised when I come in here and see an animation for, like, the intro, too. But yeah, we technically have 3 more stories left. We have Shizune, Hanako, and then, Lily, the blind girl. We've done Rin and Emi so far, which, funnily enough, Rin was first, the girl with no arms, and then we got the girl with no legs, like, right after. I guess for some reason the game just gave me all the amputees first, and now everyone else has just been left over. Well, not that the game gave them to me, it was the decisions that I made. It's not like I was doing, like, a walkthrough or, like, anything. I just chose the decisions that I wanted. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. In that whole time, I can probably count the times I've left this hospital room, unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts, so I've had plenty of times to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. A strange word. A foreign, alien one. One that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently, I've had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. Really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get-well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had turned into a class project. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Iwanako was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyways. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. The hospital. It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they are in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate on when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries had worked. So I idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left on my chest slowly change its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of an omen. I still asked the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer shows that there is at least some hope. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I don't know why, I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital, although it was more like a storeroom for books. I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. But I loved the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mass that I was trapped inside, instead of moving within it. A week could go by, without me really noticing it. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness through a barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of my books would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that only happened rarely. And I couldn't even cry. Today the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I've last seen them. Both of them are sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of a special occasion? It's not a party. There is this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time, sorting through his papers, and then setting them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. "Hello, Hisao. How are you today?" I don't answer him, but I smile a little back at him. I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medicines sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I take it from his hands and take a look myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, contradictions, and dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's so futile. I can't stand any of it. Attempting to only makes me feel sicker. All this for the rest of my life every day? I'm afraid that this is the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if you hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please calm down, Hisao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he says it tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever of my concern shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What? Am I? It has a 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes away from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on the campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple weeks back. I think you'd like it a lot. It looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and while it's not the same one, a special school, that's an insult. That is what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All of the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of that school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me. But what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. I'd always thought my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something about how I can go back to school anyway, but no. I don't say anything. The fact is that I know it's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There isn't really a choice. I know this. But the thought of going to a disabled school? What are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. That is all I can think of to get me through this. At least I still have something, even if it's a special school, it's something. It's a fresh start, and my life isn't over. It would be a mistake to just resign myself to that. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. Again, he's a much more positive man than I am. I probably would have just given up, honestly. Admittedly, I'm a very pessimistic person. I probably would have been like, you know what, I'm dying. I don't care. Just let me lie home and play video games and rot in bed. The gate looked far too pompous for what it is. In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gray plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. I wonder if it looked like a gate for a school, or I wondered if this looked like what a gate for a school should look like, but couldn't really decide. Probably no. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck thinking about the gate for too long, so I entered through it with a brisk pace and felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. So I walked towards the main building of Yamaku Academy with this brisk pace. I'm alone, as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have. More like a park with a clean walkway going past trees and the smell of fresh-cut grass and all other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pop into my mind. It makes me shudder. I shake them off, stay open-minded now. It's your new life, and you have to take it as it comes. That's what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies, too big and too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley. Even though I was told this is my new school, in the back of my head it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real or caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kind of eerie. Makes me wish there was someone here so I could anchor myself to something tangible, instead of having this feeling that I stepped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind, and the green hues flashing all around me catch my attention. Makes me think about the hospital again. How they say that the operating rooms are painted green because green is a common color. So why do I feel so anxious despite all this greenery? Only after I stand in front of the Hofty main building, I surprise myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life I could return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous with this realization set in my head, I open the front door. A tall man with bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only ones in the lobby, so it's only logical. You must be Niki? Naki. So you are. Excellent. I'm your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Muto. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that is neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asks for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me? I don't really like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Somehow not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure. I mean, isn't that normal? Of course, but not everyone likes to be the center of attention. I'm probably one of those people, but I guess I should be the one to give the impression myself. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go then. My heart is pounding in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third door down, the third floor corridor, is marked as classroom for class 3-3. Muto opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late again. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Get a grip. This is a big step, I know that. But there isn't any point to worrying about it so much. At least not so soon. I follow the teacher into the classroom and look around, partially so I won't have to meet the curious gazes of the classmates. It's pretty spacious, the ceiling is unusually high and there's a lot of space left over around and in between the desk. An entire wall taken up by blackboard and the high old-fashioned windows only make it seem larger. The student desks are just standard wooden desks with shelves underneath for books and wooden chairs and with metal frames. Simple and efficient. I stop walking in front of the classroom and face the other students. They all look normal, like students in any other school. But then, why would they be here? They're probably like me and have something wrong with them, only it's just not immediately obvious. Then, I notice that one of the girls seems to be missing a thumb on her right hand. It's a little jarring. Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone's talking to you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduces me to the class. I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone is looking at me. A girl with really long straight hair that is pretty eye-catching. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hands, as if it'll make her invisible. There is one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motions. Sign language? She peers over the rim of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she's doing. She's kinda cute. So is a cheery-looking girl with pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her the moment I walked in. Please welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hands and so does everyone else, except for one girl in the first row who only has one hand. I cringe a little bit, but hide it by bowing in thanks for this applause I did not deserve. A collective silence tells me that I should open my mouth now. So, I'm Hisao Naki. And after that, my hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along with everyone even though I'm a new student. And after that, I'm being so boring. This is exactly like every self-introduction ever. I should say something more exciting. I end up saying nothing, and the teacher picks up from there. Everyone seems to be satisfied even with what little I said, though. Few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. Could have gone worse. I listen to the teacher as he drones about getting along and while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom again. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round, with her hand against her other wrist that ends up in a bandaged stump. Makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. That's good. You can work with Hakamichi. She is the class representative. She can explain anything you might want to know, and who else would be better to do that, right? I mean, how could I know? The teacher passes the day's assignment and announces that we'll be working in groups of 3. It hits me that I don't even know who Hakamichi is. Slow, the teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Oh right, Hakamichi is right there. Shizune Hakamichi. As he calls out her name, the cute bubbly-looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hey, I guess you're Hakamichi, right? It's nice to meet you. Ha ha ha! What? I'm caught off guard by her laughter. It's nice to meet you too, but... I'm not Hakamichi, I'm Misha. This is Hakamichi, Shek-chan. Giggling, Misha points to the girl next to her, the one I saw using sign language before. It looks like she has been staring at me this whole time. She nods once nonchalantly to show me that she acknowledges my presence, but only barely. She has short, yet carefully, neatly brushed hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on the tip of her dainty nose, and dark blue eyes that seem to alternate every few seconds between analytical and slightly bored. It's nice to meet you. She immediately looks at Misha, who smiles and makes a few quick gestures with her hands. Hakamichi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. I start to wonder if the teacher was messing with me, saying things like, you'll be able to talk to people, and who better to explain things to you. I can see you're a little confused, right? Right? But I understand why you would think I was Shik-chan. Shik-chan is deaf, so I'm the person who translates things back and forth for her. I'm like an interpreter. She says it's nice to meet you too. You're the new student, aren't you? Well, Shik-chan, of course he is. If he wasn't, he wouldn't have been standing up there for no reason, right? He seems like a very interesting person, doesn't he? We knew there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know you would be here so soon. Hik-chan, right? Hik-chan. Yep, it fits, doesn't it? Did I say it out loud? It's just a surprise. I've never liked that nickname. I don't really see how. It fits. You look just like I imagined. Ha ha ha. Yeah, look at you. Just like a Hick-chan. I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Hakamichi taps her fingers on the desk to get Misha's attention. They gesture back and forth to each other excitedly, their hands a blur. Misha seems a little overwhelmed. Ahaha, sorry about that. Shik-chan wants you to know that she's the class rep, so if there's anything you need to know, you can feel free to ask her. Do you like the school so far? We can show you around a little if you haven't had time to walk around and familiarize yourself with it. Misha stumbles with the hard word a bit, making it stick out in her otherwise fluent translation. Oh shit, I paused by accident, my bad. Thanks, that would be pretty helpful. Yeah, I just kind of came straight to class today. Ha ha ha. That's no good. You should always try to learn as much as you can about where you're going before you go there. Not just with school either. Always, even if it's a trip to the convenience store. Really, Shik-chan? Ha ha ha. Learn about where you're going. I guess I didn't bother to do that, or just didn't care enough to do so. I didn't look forward to this, even if I committed myself to go along with this half-assedly, but anyways. I don't say anything, and Misha signs something that ends in a shrug. What was that? Seems like it was about me. I feel like slumping over in my seat. Both of them are smiling, but that shrug hit me unexpectedly deeply. You look down. Are you okay? Don't take it the wrong way, please. I hate it when people are afraid to ask questions. That's why people learn things by asking. Asking for help is perfectly normal, as much as needing help. Stop looking like you just failed the test. Wahahaha. Alright. Ah, and another thing. You don't have to call Shik-chan something so formal like Hakamichi or class rep all the time. Just call her Shik-chan. Ahaha, okay, maybe that's too casual. Maybe Shizune would be more appropriate. Yep, Shizune is fine. Huh. Okay, that'd be a lot easier for me. I feel a lot more at ease. Both of them seem so friendly, so I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier. Especially about Shizune, who I assumed would be all business. Well, she's still like that, just less so, I guess. Huh? Oh right, we haven't even touched the assignment. We should start work now, or Shik-chan will get mad. The assignment is also kinda long, so we should start now if we want to finish before the end of class. Wahaha, that too. Shizune glares at the two of us impatiently. I don't need to know sign language to understand that. Okay, I get the message. After class, we can take a walk around the grounds together. It's a nice day today, okay? The assignment is actually very challenging to get through, combining aspects of being both difficult and unnecessarily long. Still, we finished it a few minutes earlier than everyone else in class, despite our late start. Shizune and Misha are really capable. They're quite different though. The class rep is as calm and professional as she looks, while Misha is a lot more playful and girlish, not to mention a little more easily distracted. To be honest, the two of them did most of the work, and I feel kinda guilty about that. The clock tower bell rings, signaling the end of the period. Time for lunch. Without knowing what else to do, I follow Misha, who is beckoning me into the hallway and down the stairs. We descend even below the lobby where I met Muto, down to the bottom floor. Just like everything in the school, the cafeteria seems too spacious and oddly modern in contrast to the classic exterior. Its big windows open to the courtyard, towards the main gate. It's the cafeteria! Her enthusiastic statement of the obvious makes people around us stare, but Misha doesn't seem to care, so we proceed to the line. There is a rather long list of menu options, which seems great until I realize that many of them are to accommodate students with special need diets. How nice. It almost feels like I'm back at the hospital, eating portions measured with scientific precision to meet the needs of the patients. I pick something at random and follow Shizune to the table, sitting opposite of her. As I nibble indifferently at the food I'd rather not eat, Misha pokes me in the side to get my attention and points to Shizune. I don't understand Sai, so the point escapes me. Maybe looking at the person who talks to you is proper and polite? Do you want to know something? What? About anything. We're your guides, so ask if there's something. I wonder. So I do need to make a couple of decisions. Oh shit, I pressed the wrong thing. I need to make a couple of decisions to get Shizune's thing. So yeah, of course, when asked to help. Oh, that's not when asked to help. That's when asked if I want to speak to class. Ask about Shizune's deafness. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Alright, ask about Shizune's deafness. Shizune intrigues me, and I kind of want to ask something about her. But I can't really ask about something that personal, can I? Huh. I can't come up with anything else to ask, so I just focus on my food while the girls talk between themselves. Misha and Shizune sign back and forth very animatedly, throwing sideways glances at me, but Misha refrains from translating. Maybe they were talking about secret girl stuff or something. I quickly notice a conversation and sign is not enough to fill a silence. We arrive in the classroom early, but we're not the first. That dark-haired girl I noticed before is slumping over her desk at the last row. She jumps a little when Misha crashes into the room with the elegance of a rhino. She shrinks deeper into her seat. I can feel her tension all the way from here, as if she were slowly turning into stone just from her presence. Misha and Shizune either don't notice or don't mind it, as they walk directly past her to their seats to begin to converse. I'm left wondering about her, even when the classroom slowly fills with other students and finally the teacher. Getting into the rhythm of school feels strange. It's as if my brain remembers how this is done, but my body doesn't. Towards the end of class, I start yawning and counting the minutes left. I shouldn't be this tired for just my first day of school. Maybe it's the long time I spent in the hospital that made me like this. I'm even feeling physically weak and lifeless. Before long, the final bell rings. School is finally over for the day. Beside me, Misha and Shizune are having a short conversation. After a bit of deliberation, Misha turns to me. Unfortunately, we can't stay and show you around today, Hik-chan. We've got to hurry already, since there's a lot of work for us to do. You'll find your way around, I'm sure of it. Oh wait, the teacher said I have to see the nurse. Where do I have to go? Is that so? We can at least show you that much. Come on, the nurses have their own building, so we have to go outside. We join the flow of students making their way down to the stairwell and outside, with the girls pointing out other senior classrooms in the same hallway as ours. When we get outside, the girls make their way to a smaller building right next to our school. It's built in the same style, so it looks like it's actually part of the main building. This is the auxiliary building here. There's a lot of official and important stuff inside, like the Yamaku Foundation office, all the nurses' office, and they even have a swimming pool. How is that official? Don't be silly, Hik-chan. It's for physical therapy, of course. Anyways, all the nursing faculties are in there too. The head nurse's office is on the first floor. You'll be fine from here, right? We'll be going then. See you tomorrow. Yeah, thanks. Bye. A whole building for stuff that has nothing to do with actual education? I guess it's necessary for a place like this. I walk in, hoping that this really will be a quick visit like the teacher said. On a white door on the left is a green cross with the text Head Nurse and a nameplate. A voice from inside responds to my knock almost immediately, but I can't quite make it out. It sounded a bit like an invitation to open the door, so I invite myself further in. The room is not large and it smells strange. A friendly-looking man turns around on his chair and faces me as I enter. His desk is neat and tidy, but the bin under the table is overflowing with used medical utensils, and there are at least a dozen coffee cup rings littering the desk. Hello there, what can I do for you today? He is a young-looking and sort of rugged, but the dimples in his cheeks wash an impression away when he smiles. Are you the nurse? He smiles like a person who has heard the same question hundreds of times. Why, yes I am. It says so on the door, no? You can call me by my name or just the nurse like everyone else. Of course, I shake off my confusion, realizing I probably should grab his extended hand. His handshake is rather firm and friendly. Right, I'm a new student, and my homeroom teacher told me to come meet you. My name is Hisao Naki. His eyes light up with revelation and he snaps his fingers. Oh, you're that Naki. I was just reading your file this morning. Some kind of chronic arrhythmia and related congenital heart muscle deficiency, right? He gestures me to sit down in a vacant armchair in front of his desk. Ah, yes. Good. Well, you've probably been briefed about the school enough, so I'll just go over this quickly. We have all kinds of faculties available, mostly physical therapy and such. There's always someone from the staff around, even at night, so never hesitate to call us if there's a problem. The famous 24-hour nursing staff. Wow, this is like a hospital. Well, not exactly. For instance, we don't do brain surgery here. His joke feels so out of place that I'm left thinking why he even said it. Yeah, it's just weird to have so many medical people at a school. You'll get used to it. Not so sure of that myself, but I don't let the nurse know it. Now, let me find your file again. While he searches for something from his computer and shuffles around a stack of papers, I let my gaze wander around the room. It's the Epipnea generic, I'd like to say. Beige walls and ceilings, dark gray luminant floors, and all the equipment you'd expect from a school's nurse's office. Even the ridiculous educational posters are hanging on all 4 walls, reminding me to eat properly 3 times a day from all the food groups. Smiling, the nurse draws a thick file from a stack of similarly thick files and opens it. So you already have medication for the arrhythmia. Just remember to take your pills every morning and evening, or it won't be much help. Apart from that, do you do any sports? Rash stuff like, I don't know, boxing? He grins at his own joke, but I don't. Well, I played soccer occasionally with some classmates. Alright, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to recommend you refrain from doing that, at least for the time being. Oh. My lack of reaction makes him raise an eyebrow, but really I'm not too bothered by him forbidding me to kick a ball around. I guess I never did it out of a burning passion for the sport, just to have something to do. Any kind of concussion might be very dangerous to your heart, and risking another attack is not good. Was the previous one caused by a sudden concussion to the chest area? There is no mention of what the cause is in your paper. Not exactly. I sidestep the question acceptably, and he glances at me over his papers with a more serious expression on his face. Still, you need to keep your body healthy. Some exercise would do you good. We have physical therapy and such available, as I said, but I don't think you really need such heavy measures. Just get some light exercise regularly. Brisk walks or even light jogging, jumping rope, that sort of thing. Swimming, maybe. There's a pool here. So I was told. You were? Very good. At any rate, and I'm sure you've been told this before, you just need to take care not to overexert yourself. He wags his finger to emphasize the point. No need, really. I've heard this 1,000 times already. Absolutely no unnecessary risk. Take care of yourself. Okay. He goes over my paper one more time, and then sets them down on the desk, obviously content. Good. That's it then. Come meet me if you ever need something. Love how you're playing my game for real. Thank me later because I'm playing Hisao. Yo, maybe they'll remake this game with voice acting, and then you can be Hisao. I'm ushered out before I even realize it. A quick visit indeed. I ended up standing in front of the main building and the auxiliary building, although to my eyes, they still look like one of the same. It's the first real look I get at the other students, so I watch the people coming out of the school, going towards the gate or their dorms. Everyone seems to know where they are going, and I still keep thinking that most of them don't look too special for being students at a special school. Then again, neither do I. Does that make me one of them? One of us? I should go somewhere too to prevent me from getting lost. It's around dinner time, but I feel tired instead of hungry. They would all just be racist ghosts and Goonie Gang. They shouldn't let me voice act. Maybe that just adds more character, though. The wariness in me only grows as I trudge towards the dorms, set a little ways apart from the main building complex. There is a garden of sorts between the school and the dorms. Shrubbery, flowers, and the overbearing smell of fresh-cut grass that fills the atmosphere. It dawns on my tired mind that the smell feels novel because I haven't been outside in such a long time. The dorm building is big and made of red brick, Like the others, it feels way too pompous for what it is, so I push forward and go inside. Yeah, grass? Ugh, I don't want to touch grass. Grass makes me itchy. Actually, low-key, like, grass does really make my skin itchy. I will never be out. You can't ever catch me dead outside barefoot or, like, laying in the grass. It takes more time than necessary to fish out the key I was given from my pocket. Room 119. Despite the yeah, itchy balls, I just I just like mushroom stamped the grass outside. Despite the ordinate exterior, the inside of the dorm is fairly new, functional, and boring. Just like the main building, the halls and doors are wide to accommodate wheelchairs. The same goes for the elevators at the end of the hallways. I poke my head around the corner of the common room door. Inside, a few students are watching the television. One nods and gives a quick hello before turning it back to the TV. Seems that only the girls around here are sociable. I suppose that's perfectly fine with me. I climb the stairs to the upper floor. Here, small corridors branch off from the main hallway. Each of these minor halls seem to have a toilet and shower, as well as 4 rooms. About halfway down the hall, I spy room 119. The nameplate on the room adjacent to mine are blank. I guess there are just 2 of us here. Light shines from below the door of room 117, so I knock lightly. Hello? Is anyone home? From inside, I hear a few movements, then the clicking of way more locks than I thought these doors had. After a moment, the door squeaks open. A bi-speckled boy is standing in the doorway. He is looking at me very intently through his extremely thick glasses. My girl best friend doesn't want to send me a good oiled up selfie booty pic, and now I am here getting elf friend low key. I'll have to send you my oiled up butthole then. Although mine's probably not going to be nearly as appealing. Who is it? Blind? Nah, at least not completely. Why would he have glasses if he was blind? He leans closer to me until our noses are almost touching. His breath stinks of garlic. Hisao Naki, I'm moving into the next room. I thought I should introduce myself. His face suddenly brightens in realization, and he stands back upright, thrusting his hand out in a smiling greeting, almost straight to my diaphragm. Oh, what's up, dude? The name's Kenji. Hi. I take Kenji's sweaty hand and shake it, still a little rattled by the sudden change of attitude and the welcome. There were some suspicious-looking people going in and out of your room earlier. It was probably just my parents. Your parents? You sure? 'Cause they could have been some other people, too. Can't judge a book by its cover. His out-of-place proverb is left hanging between us awkwardly as I try to think of some way to respond. I'd say the chances are high enough. He shudders and makes some exaggerated hand gestures. You're a brave man, Hisao. Me? I don't think I could trust the chances. The only one I trust is myself. Does that mean I shouldn't get to know you either? He thinks about this for a while. A wise decision. Damn, you're smarter than you look. Probably. What do you look like? I hope not smart. He squints his eyes and leans closer again, but I lean backwards to dodge it. Never mind, it doesn't matter. With that, he turns, fumbles around for a moment in search of the door handle, and shuts the door behind him. I slide the key into the lock of door marked 119. Bleak beige walls, white linen, a desk made of some type of light wood, ugly curtains. Kenji? Yeah, fuck Kenji. I'm way cooler. Although, honestly, besides from like the glasses, I kinda do look like that character. It's no one's room. Impersonal, like the hospital room was. My bags are sitting at the foot of my bed, looking a lot emptier than they did this morning. The closet is sitting open, stocked with my clothes. Also, it seems that there are a number of school uniforms hanging in there as well. A note is pinned to the sleeve of one of the shirts. Hi Hik-chan, we've unpacked your things and made your bed. They said that if these don't fit, then you should go to the office tomorrow morning. If you have any problems, you can always call us. Love, Mom and Dad. Aw, at least my parents in this game love me. Not like my real parents. Well, at least I don't have to worry about unpacking. I kinda hoped I would have to. Then there would be something for me to do. Still too early. I put the note down on the desktop and lie down on my bed, feeling drained. Lying there makes me want to read something, but I have nothing with me. I wonder if the hospital conditioned me for wanting to read whenever I have nothing to do. I mean, that's probably a better habit than me. I crank my hog whenever I have nothing to do. The restless urge just keeps growing until I have to stand up. Maybe it's stress or something. I was pretty nervous about it before coming, and for the entire day today too. I still think I am. Damn, I have to distract myself somehow, so I won't be this unnatural all the time. Tomorrow, I'll go borrow some books from the library. Yeah, I'll do that. But for now, the bottles of medication neatly arranged on my night table catch my eye. I pick up one and shake it just to hear the contents rattle inside, and then read the glued-on pharmacy label. Hasao Naki, 2 tablets a day to stay alive. It doesn't really say that, but it could just as well. It's kind of twisted, having your life depend on chemicals like this. I resent it a little, but what choice do I have? With a sigh, I begin my new daily ritual of taking the right number of pills from each bottle, being careful to check the correct dosages. Yeah, when the doctor hands you the list at like the very beginning of the game, it like flashes like so many different kind of pills, but then like every day I swear I only see Naki take like 2 pills, like that's not even that much. That's like the same amount of pills that I have to take for my bipolar meds. I lie down again, feeling hollow and uncertain, and after that, I keep staring at the blank, unfamiliar ceiling for a long time. It doesn't start looking any more familiar, not even after darkness falls and long shadows draw across my room like fingers. The sheets feel slightly more comfortable, warm and nest-like against the chill that passes for room temperature here. Soon, the lighter shades of darkness that is the ceiling looks like every other ceiling does at night, and it becomes the only thing I recognize anymore. The night beckons me to sleep, and I feel the coldness of unfamiliarity and fear creeping up my spine once again. I keep drifting forward, or further away from the world I knew. I literally only take hypertension, headache medicine only, in which they are like painkillers too. Yeah, I've never really been like a big medicine person. Like my bipolar medication is like the only meds that I actually take, and maybe like the occasional painkiller if it's like something that just won't go away. But other than that, like I've always been like a very natural kind of like remedy person for the most part. If I have like a headache, I'll just like drink tea or like take a shower in like rarely hot water, just like steam myself out to kind of like relieve a headache. I don't really like taking medicine unless it's like absolutely necessary. I wake up in a strange room. Solid morning light shimmers against the light gray ceilings. I had forgotten to draw the curtains closed last night. This is my room, isn't it? My room. This is the 3rd room this year that I'm supposed to call mine. Various things around here remind me that, indeed, it's me who is supposed to be the one living here. My bags on the floor, my new school books on the desk, my numerous medications on the night table. I stare at the bottle for a moment, deliberating, until I open a bottle and shake out a pill and pop out a tablet from a foil sheet. I down them with a chaser of water without thinking about the chemistry. My uniforms are in the closet. You said shower gang. Hell yeah. I love spending time with the boys in the shower. I slink out from under the sheets and stretch my back before dressing up. Putting on a new school uniform feels like dressing in someone else's clothes. The artificial smell of generic detergent invades my nose, but the feeling of fresh clothes against my back is a good one, a natural one. It feels like a school uniform, as it should. It's not much different from what I used to wear. That goes for other things too. So far, this place seems more or less like a normal school. Except for the people. I think back to my talk with Kenji yesterday, Misha's constant laughter, and Shizune's sweeping sign language gestures. Well, I've only met 3 students so far. Maybe they aren't that normal, but I'm sure the others are. Or perhaps people like them are what passes for normal around here. Yeah, what does pass for normal around here? What do people do? They crank their hogs. I didn't see a lot of kids hanging around after classes yesterday, so maybe there are clubs. If so, I wonder if I should join one. I low-key jerk it in the shower because I am I'm trying to relax. I don't think I could do that standing up, though. I feel like it would be impossible for me to do that standing up. I'd have to, like, get one of those, like, showers that have, like, the seat in it. All through class, the question remains on my mind, so I decide to ask Shizune about it when we split into groups. After all, she did say if I had anything I wanted to know, I should ask her. She crosses her arms and shifts her gaze slowly to Misha, who looks more preoccupied with trying to grind the eraser of her pencil down so that the top is perfectly and evenly flat. Does Misha have, like, OCD or something? Ahaha, sorry, Shik-chan. Is there something you wanted from me? Oh, I see. That's a good question, Hik-chan. My first thought is that it means she doesn't know, which is worrying. Maybe I'm being too negative. Well, anyways, Misha, please don't prove me right. Oh, that's right. Everyone is encouraged to join a club. A lot of people do so because there really isn't anything else to do. There are also school events like the festival coming up in a few days. Almost every student in the school tends to help out during that. So, you actually transferred in a busy time. Maybe you can help out too. Sure. Honestly, bro, if he clanks our hogs, do robot humans their bolts? Oh, true, that's... Like, when we have, when technology advances and sex bots become a thing, will the bots become, like... Because, like, obviously the big concern is, like, AI taking over and, like, AI becoming sentient. If that ever does happen, will AI have the urge to just, like, flick their bolts? Or to stroke their pistons? What's the festival about? Misha freezes. Wahahaha. I don't know, Hik-chan. The truth is, it's a local event, and I'm not from the area, so... She starts signing desperately to Shizune, asking her to bail her out. Shizune adjusts her glasses at the end of an oddly grandiose flourish and starts signing hard and heavy. Huh? Oh. Who cares? What are we even talking about, and why did you switch to the game all of a sudden after silence? This shit is so funny. That's just how I am. I really do have, like, the intelligence, or not the intelligence, but, like, the, what was I gonna say? It's not object permanence. I just, like, I go back and forth between, like, certain things, like, so frequently. It's fitting that I'm a raccoon. I like shiny. Misha puffs out her chest as she shouts Shizune's words out at me with a disproportionate amount of pride. Too loud, I can see heads turning to look our direction. Not so loud. Human beings evolve with each new generation. The ideals and beliefs behind a festival will inevitably change with time. Now, it's about delicious fried food and amazing little games that you play to win prizes. Ha ha ha. The teacher clears his throat very loudly, batting his long wooden pointer against the other palm like a baton. He shoots a pointed gaze at us. Finally noticing where we are, Misha stifles a yelp and quickly quiets down. Shizune doesn't seem embarrassed at all, though brushing it off without a care. We are in the middle of class and you should start working. That's right, Shik-chan. What? That's right. Hik-chan, are you asking because you're interested in joining a club? It could have been my eyes playing tricks on me, but I think I saw a suspicious glance exchanged between them. Misha's tone has also changed, although it does at every other word anyway. Bro, like you literally said, will robots flick their pistons? Then you switch to the game like nothing happened. Yeah, I'm just saying, like if AI does advance and like sex bots become sentient, like would a sex bot feel the urge to just like, you know, crank it? I feel like it's a very important question. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Misha and Suzune look over at each other. I'm about to ask what they have in mind when something dark flutters in my peripheral vision, catching my attention. It was an AI robot cranking his hog. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the girl with long, dark hair get up from her desk and slip silently towards the door. It doesn't seem like she was working in any group, and no one seems to notice her but me. I glance at the teacher, who is also looking at the dark-haired girl, go, "Why doesn't he say anything?" "Hik-chan, is something wrong? Do I look as uneasy as I feel? Or was Misha just looking at me after looking at... Wow. Goddamn. Or was Misha just looking at me, looking after the girl who left? No, it's nothing." "Okay, well, like we were asking, you don't have any plans for lunch today, do you?" "I thought I would go to the library and pick up some books." Not really." "Do you want to have lunch together, then?" "Sure." "Yay, wahaha. Okay, Hik-chan, perfect." They would, though, they would, but low-key a water hose. The rest of the class passes uneventfully. The girl with long hair never comes back, and neither did my dad. Before I have the time to put any more thought into where she could have gone, the teacher informs us that it's time to stop working. Shizune looks more than a little annoyed that we only just barely managed to finish all of our work on time. I'm just glad we finished it at all. It's not a contest or anything. "Yes, it is, Hik-chan." "Impossible." "Really?" "Really." I've noticed this before, but it's kind of funny how Misha is always moving her hands and signing not only everything she says, but what anyone else is saying at any given time. Obviously, it must be for Shizune, so she can understand it. Her eyes dart back and forth between Misha's hands and me. I don't know who I'm supposed to be looking at. I'm talking to Misha, but that might be wrong. Maybe I should face Shizune? I'm used to looking in the direction of the person whose voice I'm hearing, but really... Shizune can't hear me, but it would be disrespectful to talk to her only through Misha. Then again, isn't that what she's doing? No, she's at least looking at me. This is all very confusing and will take some time to get used to. It's not a contest, because contests are competitions over a prize. If there's no prize on the line, it's not really a contest. Shizune's eyes flash dangerously with a competitive glare. She stares at me, as if surprised that I'm challenging her. I think maybe this is a contest to her. I never noticed before how dark and blue her eyes are. It's truly an alluring gaze. Look, I'm gonna go goon right now. Should I ask my girl best friend for goon pics? You definitely should. The homies need to, like... Homies need to be there for other homies. If my bro was like, "Hey man, I'm jerking it right now. Can I get a picture of your fat cheeks?" I'd be like, "Hell yeah, brother. What kind of pose and position you want me in? Should I get oiled up too?" Always gotta provide for the homies. Are you sure, Hik-chan? Very sure. Ha ha ha, you're wrong, Hik-chan, because I don't want to be the slowest one in the class. Therefore, what's on the line is my confidence in my abilities, and the prize is the satisfaction of proving them. Wahahaha. Shizune pushes her glasses up to the bridge of her nose in a very matter-of-fact way. I'd argue more, but the bell rings, and she quickly gets up and picks up her bag, looking at me expectantly. I had almost forgotten that I was supposed to have lunch with them. Where do you want to eat? The cafeteria? Ha ha ha, that's so plain. Alright, let's go. Plain? Well, I guess. On my old school, I'd like to eat outside, near the back of the building. It was a good spot, but I didn't find it until the near end of my freshman year. I wonder if there is a similar place to eat here. Misha seems to imply as much. See, I told her that. She says no. People these days... But she's saying come here to find out some scary shit, like I forgot I am scared of women or something. Oh man, I mean, if she's invited you over, you gotta go over. You know, you gotta go over. She's gonna ask you to Smash, you get there with like your Nintendo Switch, and she ain't talking about Smash Bros. Man, I wish I had a girlfriend. Women are scary, I agree though. Shizune and Misha pulled me towards the cafeteria, which is surprisingly not packed. Maybe some students favor eating in classrooms or outdoors. I saw some of my classmates had boxed lunches. After we finished eating, Misha picks up where we left off earlier. So, Hik-chan, you want to know about the clubs and stuff, right? Right, Shik-chan. Okay, I guess it makes sense to ask first. Exchanging little nods of confirmation, they turn to face me again, and Misha straightens her posture as if she's about to deliver a speech. Hik-chan, do you have anything you're interested in? Women. I used to play soccer, but I'm not really into it. I don't follow the teams and players or anything like that. As of late, I usually just read a lot. There is a book club, right, Shik-chan? Right. But it seems like they have all the members they can possibly have right now. Sorry, Hik-chan. It's a really popular club. Oh, okay. But more to the point, Hik-chan. Does this mean that you don't have anything already in mind? Not really. Good. Great. That's great, Hik-chan. Really great. Ha ha ha. Wah ha 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 ha. Why is this so great? No reason. Well, Hik-chan, other than clubs and the upcoming festival, there is one other thing. Student council. I see. I didn't know the school had a student council. That was a very melodramatic setup, though, just to tell me that. I'm pretty sure the two of them know this, because Shizune looks a little embarrassed about it, and Misha is laughing. Shizune quickly retakes control of the discussion, in a manner of speaking. After all, it's Misha who has the voice to say whatever she wants. Ha ha ha, huh? Oh, right. Hik-chan, maybe you should join the student council. They could use more people. Yes, definitely. You should definitely join. Why? Well, for one, we can hang out every day, Hik-chan. Shik-chan and I are both in the student council. Actually, Shik-chan is the president. Huh. I'm starting to get the suspicion that Shizune and Misha might not exactly be the most unbiased people to talk to about this. As if reading my mind, Shizune quickly adjusts her glasses and sighs something to Misha. Ha ha ha, of course we're not trying to get you to join just because we would obviously benefit from you joining the student council, and therefore have an incentive to try to get you to. So you're admitting that? No, we admit nothing. I mean, Hik-chan, of course it would be nice if you joined, and we'd appreciate it. But even without all that, joining the student council shows a healthy interest in the workings of one school. Yep, it's true, Hik-chan. Besides, don't you want to spend time with us after school, Hik-chan? I can't tell if she is being genuine or if this is really good acting. Both of them seem to be trying hard to look their cutest, although they already are pretty cute to begin with. Well... So it's settled then. Welcome to student council, Hik-chan. What? No. Aw, see, Shik-chan? Of course I wouldn't go that easily. Yep, that's right. Though it would be boring if it went that smoothly. Oh well, Shik-chan owes me candy now. You were betting on it? Hey, my life is not a game here. Shizune seems very intrigued by this when Misha signs it to her. The aggressive glint in her eye returns. Wahaha, that's interesting, Hik-chan. Let's play a game. That's not what I said. How about rich man, poor man, Hik-chan? If you lose, you have to join the student council. No, absolutely not. Aw, why not? Well, because you two both have the same incentive, and therefore the same goal, which is to get me to join the student council, right? Yep. Yeah, that isn't my goal, but what this means is that both of you can just team up, and I'll be at a clear disadvantage, so I will have to decline. Hik-chan, I'm very offended. Are you saying you don't trust us, and that we would pull something so... disingenuous? That makes me sad. Sorry? It's hard to tell where Shizune's influence ends and Misha's thoughts begin. In order to atone for hurting a young girl's feelings, you should definitely join the student council. No. How about a game of paper football instead? Of rich man, poor man? Paper football? Yeah, it's a game they play in America. You make a paper triangle, and then you just try to shoot it past the goalpost that the other players makes with their fingers. Isn't it cool? It's the ultimate form of competition between two people, Hik-chan. And it's also played by elementary and middle school children. Shik-chan, wahaha. That means it's a game that really separates the boys from the men. More like the boys from the slightly older boys. Anyways, I'm not going to play that game either. Just the fact that you know what it is means you're probably surprisingly good at it. Ha ha ha. Yeah, that's true. How did you know, Hik-chan? Shizune frowns at Misha, telling me that she probably wasn't supposed to admit that so readily. I wouldn't say that I'm happy with their attempts to get me into the student council, but I'm a little curious about what the student council does here. I've never been on one before, or even known anyone who was a member, so it interests me. I also kinda like Shizune and Misha, so maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Okay, Hik-chan, how about Risk, the game of world domination? I don't know what that is. It's really fun, Hik-chan. You fight for control of the world with armies and everything. Sounds like Shizune would be good at it. If you want to play, we can after school. Really, Shik-chan? We can play just for fun, Hik-chan. Shik-chan hasn't played in a long time, so if you want to, there are no strings attached. Well, alright. Okay, perfect. We'll see you after school in the student council room then, Hik-chan. Wait, why there? Because that's where we keep the game. Wahahaha. I grimace to tell them how much I do not like this, but it's more for show than anything. So in the end, I agree, but only after getting Shizune to acknowledge that I don't mean anything concrete just by accepting to take a look around and play a game with them. Lunch ends and we go back to class. During afternoon classes, the long-haired girl comes back and sits down in her seat without a word. Again, no one seems to notice, or if they do, no one says anything. I want to ask Misha about it, but I don't want to be nosy. After school, Shizune and Misha quickly find me by the first floor lobby and latch onto me, covering each flank in case I might try to escape. I feel a little offended, but I had been considering it. Nevertheless, I'm a bit disturbed that enough people have made a break for it in the past that they're on their guard. What's with the escort? This doesn't make me feel very comfortable. In fact, it makes me feel like I'm a dangerous prisoner being transported to his cell. Wahahaha, what's wrong, Hik-chan? That's right, we're just going to play a game of Risk, remember? I don't know, Misha. This all seems a little sinister to me. I start thinking that when we sit down to play the game, they'll tie me down and torture me until I agree to join the student council. Well, that's highly unlikely, but still, for some reason, it just seems like it would be so plausible. Getting to the student council room is as simple as turning 2 corners from where we started. What? That's it? This makes you guys being so on top of me seem a little silly. That's not true, Hik-chan. Shik-chan says that when their life is threatened, people have shown the capability to pull off superhuman bursts of speed. Life is threatened? Her expression unchanging, Misha signs something amusedly to Shizune, who makes a baffling face and puts her hands behind her back, looking pleased with herself. Misha feigns deafness and hums cheerfully. Stop that. I know you heard me. You have no excuse, unlike Shizune. Shizune opens the door to the student council room. It's a very plain, sparsely decorated room, although it is quite large, maybe a little larger than a classroom. There's a big table in the center surrounded by chairs, and a smaller desk prominently placed in the back that I assume is Shizune's. There are a few regular desks and chairs stacked to one side as well. Extras, perhaps. Aside from the tables and chairs, the room doesn't have much else to offer. Just a couple of filing cabinets and bookshelves stacked with old-school records and documents. Not much else. In fact, nothing else. This is a pretty bleak room. They could at least put a potted plant in here or something, but the most noticeable thing in this room doesn't have is other people. Are we early? No. What do you mean no? Does it mean no one else is coming in today? Yeah, that's right. Before I manage to ask why that's the case, Shizune claps her hands together very energetically. Hik-chan, let's play Risk. Come on, you promised, didn't you? You have to. Ha ha ha, okay. Do you want to know the rules? We can explain it to you while we set up. While Misha is talking, Shizune takes out what looks like a board game from behind one of the filing cabinets and throws it on the table. Actually, this looks kind of interesting. After Misha spends a little too long for her liking, running through the basics with a somewhat vague and confusing tutorial, Shizune cuts in and declares the game has started with a decisive motion, slicing her arm through the air. Shizune's aggressiveness is rubbing off onto me. I start feeling more competitive than I intended to be when I agreed to this. Halfway into the game, while I try to ponder how to defend against Shizune's assault from two fronts, she breaks my concentration by drumming her fingers on the table to get my attention. Shik-chan wants you to know you're taking way too long to make a move. Shik-chan also says that she will keep Australia if you agree to join the student council. I thought this was a game with no strings attached. Just the fact that she would dangle that over my head as an offer means that she knows I care about the outcome of this game. And anyway, no. Shik-chan admires your fighting spirit and would be a benevolent dictator who will spare. Wow. Alright, let me take a drink. All things considered, I've been reading this a lot better than what I would otherwise. Shik-chan admires your fighting spirit and would be a benevolent dictator who will spare your people if you agree to join the student council. Ha ha ha. You're so competitive, Shizune. She seems to take this as a compliment. I would expect the student council president to be a little more magnanimous. Magnanimous? She doesn't seem to know what that word means or how it's signed, so she pulls out a piece of paper and writes it for Shizune, who returns sighs it back to Misha. Misha presses her index fingers against her temple, as if trying to physically imprint the word into her memory. Suddenly, Shizune bursts into a flurry of gestures. Misha looks daunted by the pace of her heated siding. Wait, please slow down, Shik-chan. Shik-chan says you're going to lose. Tell her that I will crush her world empire with my rebellion. Okay. Those eyes of hers shining like childlike mischief. She says you have no chance if you keep playing like this. No, you won't. She has a point. Attack aggressively. She's either really mocking me or trying to trick me. I have nothing else to lose though, so I might as well try something different. Maybe if I spread out my forces and try to control more territories, I can recoup the advantage. Shizune seems to focus on conquering whole nations, so maybe I can sacrifice my hold on continents to gain more small countries. It's worth a shot. A few turns later, I end up losing the game anyways. Shizune adjusts her glasses victoriously and allows herself to tentatively pump a fist in the air in celebration. I win, yay! There's no need to translate that, it was pretty clear. Wahaha, don't look so sad, Hik-chan. You were really giving it your best, that's what I thought. Sometimes your best just isn't good enough, though. If anyone knows that, it's me. You did very well for someone who just learned how to play today. Hik-chan, you attacked Iceland and North America at the same time. It's a very daring move. Shik-chan was impressed. The mark of great people is that they are daring and that they can follow through. You're already halfway there. Isn't that great, Hik-chan? That isn't enough, though. Just potential isn't enough. There's no point to potential if you don't take the first step, and there is no point to that if you don't keep going. I want to see more. You're right, Shik-chan, but that's so demanding. Shizune leads forward, suddenly looking a lot less playful and more like the serious person I expected her to be from the start. Hik-chan, would you like to join the student council? She really doesn't waste any time, does she? But it's only my second day of school, so I'm hesitant about committing to something so early. I haven't even taken a look at the other clubs yet. But spending time with Shizune and Misha doesn't seem like something I would hate. I still need more time to think about it before I decide for sure. Maybe. I'll get back to you on it. Okay, Hik-chan, but I hope you're not just saying that so we don't feel bad. No, really. Really? Hik-chan, if you're gonna say that, you're saying that it's definitely the truth, and there can't be any mistake in it. I know. I guess I should have my revenge for losing at the very least. Shizune smiles at that mischievous way. In that mischievous way, that feels like twisting the knife in a wound for my loss. I take a glance at the clock on the wall and realize I spent far longer playing Risk than expected. Sorry, I think I have to go. I wanted to go to the library. It's not closed yet, is it? Suzune scratches her head and gestures at Misha. How hard can it be to determine whether the library is open? There's a clock right there on the wall. It should be, unless the librarian is absent. I think you're right, Shek-chan. We think the library is open. It's on the second floor. Can't miss it. Do you want us to show you where it is? No thanks. It's okay. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. One flight of stairs up, and I run into problems. The second floor hallway is a carbon copy of the third one. Wide, of course, and plain like only hallways can be. The problem is that the library's whereabouts are not as easily determined as one would think. The classrooms are marked with signs stating which class they belong to, but then there is a plethora of other unmarked rooms. Is the library one of them? Or is it somewhere down the hallway? I bet on the latter and choose my direction at random. After I turn around the corner, an unmarked door draws my attention because it's not closed. It's not open either, though, just barely ajar so that I can see it's open and nothing else. It would make sense for the library door to be invitingly open, and while this one is not quite that, it's good enough. At the very least, it means that someone is inside, and I can ask for directions no matter how embarrassing that is. I gingerly push on the center of the door with my fingertips, every muscle in my arm ready to pull back at a moment's notice. The feeling of being an outsider to the school can't be shaken from my mind, so much so that I instinctively fear doing something wrong by entering. The door slowly creaks as if groaning from a deep sleep, though is much easier to open than I anticipated. Leaning over and poking my head ever further inside, to gain sight of the room as fast as possible, the meek hello on my lips is quickly snatched away. This is not what I was expecting. I mindlessly let the door open to its full extent, taken in the sight of the solitary figure taking center stage in the otherwise abandoned room. The situation steals my voice, leaving me standing at the doorway staring at the beautiful girl. Evidently having taken her time to assess the situation, the girl gently puts down her teacup and opens her eyes, but doesn't look at me. Hello there. May I help you? Staring directly in front of herself, the movements of her lips seem to break the silence rather than the words. However, it's the soft, measured voice that reminds me she's being separated from the room itself. Not only is she likely the tallest girl I ever laid eyes on, but even amongst the foreigners I've met, she's strikingly distinct. Hi. Sorry for intruding. I was just kinda lost. She takes a moment to formulate a response before speaking. Every action she takes feels as if it's carefully choreographed beforehand. Care to take a seat? Unexpected, considering that I'm intruding upon her. Thanks. I slowly step towards another seat opposite to her, the girl resting the teacup on the saucer on the wooden table in between. The way she doesn't track my movements with her head is telling. That, and the slight cloudiness in her eyes, means she must at least be partially blind like Kenji. Come to think of it, her voice doesn't have any detectable accent either. I guess she must be half Japanese. As I take my seat, her composure takes me slightly off guard. Her air of relaxed confidence makes the silence entirely comfortable. The calming atmosphere is so very different from the student council office. I take it you're a new student to Yamaku? Yeah, I just transferred in yesterday. I get the distinct feeling my speech patterns don't match the formality of hers, accentuated by her restrained bow of greeting. One which I hasten to match before realizing the futility of the action. I'm Lily Satao. Pleased to meet you. Hisao Naki. She gives a nod before gesturing roughly in the direction of her teacup. Would you care for a drink? Sure. As much as it pains me, I can't keep step with her formalities in the proceedings. She gives a kind nod, taking the request in stride. Without another word, she steps off the chair and prepares a second cup of tea from a collection of supplies laid out among the shelves. A brush here, a brush there, her left hand often lightly touching the side of whichever container she's pouring into. It seems to be a process she's followed dozens of times before. As I lean sideways to see around her back, she seems to use her long, dainty fingers to measure the right amount of water in the cup. It's one thing to see the different disabilities the students have in my class, but it's quite another to see how everyone seems to adapt. Shizune and Misha have no problem working together to communicate to me, and Lily herself seems to have workarounds for problems I'd never thought of. While I feel slightly guilty about her doing the work, she seems pleased to be following the correct process of the offerer preparing the drink. So, her soft voice brings me out of my silent observation. Which room were you looking for? It's not often this classroom is visited after school. The school library. Shizune and some classmates told me it was on this floor. She finishes pouring water into the teacup as she nods, a small metallic tapping coming from the teacup indicating it's being stirred. I'm aware of Miss Hakamichi, as are most students. To be with them means you're in class 3-3, no? That's right, in the science room with Muto. She gives a small giggle before setting down the teaspoon and slowly walking towards the table, teacup and saucer in hand. He's quite a character. I imagine you'll come to like him. Most do. As she sets down the tea, I gently take it and have a sip. I'm really more of a coffee person, but this seems like a rather bad moment to bring that up. Nonetheless, the smell's quite nice. I hardly think it'd be hard to choke it down. Thanks, Sato. It really means a lot. Or, it tastes nice. I don't know what the fuck I was reading. I was reading like something completely different. She smiles and quickly waves her hand in front of her face. Lily, please. There's no need to be so formal. She says this in spite of her exceedingly well-bred speech. Oh well. I guess I should try to ask her about herself, as it really does seem as if she's catering to me. So which class are you from? I imagine it's one of the third-year classes? Correct. I'm in class 3-2, which is on the third floor, same as yours. It's taught by Miyagi, and is specifically for both blind and partially blind students. I see. Sorry. I feel like slapping myself for the fox pass, looking at her face. Though, she doesn't seem in the least bit put off by it. My, there's no need to change your speech to my account. Sure. Sorry. I guess I'm really showing my newness here. An environment like this would be a big change, so I can't fault you for it. While the same can't be said for everyone, many have come to terms with their conditions. A category which would include her, it seems. All too ready to jump ship from this particular topic, I segue into another. Do you come here to drink tea often? It's a really nice place. Thinking on it, this might be her version of a place behind my school that I like to have lunch at. I come here fairly often during lunch times. My duties as class representative don't leave enough time for an official club, so a friend and I use this room for having tea. Class representative, huh? Compared to Shizune, her mannerism seems to be almost completely opposite. While Shizune is blunt and fiercely driven, Lily seems relaxed and calm, almost aloof. Come to think of it, she might be useful for a less biased view of the school's club. What kind of clubs are there to join? The more popular ones are the track and field club, which uses the field near the school during lunchtime, the baseball club, and the book club in a room near the library. There are also numerous small ones too, though, such as the art and music clubs. At a time when I was just wanting to get on my feet, rushing into a club right away seemed slightly unappealing. I wonder if this school shares the same rules as my old one. Is it compulsory, or is it compulsory to join a club? It isn't, though it is encouraged. Ah, good. That's a relief. I really let my guard down around this girl, to let such a thing slip out. The fact seems to amuse her. Not wanting my tea to get cold, I finally start drinking it as Lily does the same. As I look over to the window, over her shoulder, I notice the light coming through into the room has distinctly turned to orange. Even here, time doesn't stand still. Huh. The time's gone quickly. Sorry? Right, she's blind. Of course she can't see the sun setting. It just looks like the sun's starting to set. Seems to come as a surprise for her. I guess she must have lost track of time. Sorry, Hisao. I didn't mean to keep you from the library for so long. I quickly moved to allay her concern. Oh no, it's okay. The library's still open, isn't it? She pauses and takes a moment to think on it. It's probably something I should have asked Shizune when I had the chance, but Lily seems likely to know in any case. True. It's open until 6:30 during weekdays. A quick glance at my watch confirms that I have well enough time to get there. Huh. I'll make it going in that case. It's been nice talking with you, Lily. She smiles and gives a deep nod, her hands still neatly folded on the table in front of her. It was my pleasure. Oh, come to think of it, shall I show you to where the library is? I couldn't possibly ask for more help. I should be able to find it alright. Well, unless my navigation skills fail me again. Which they seem to have a habit of doing. It's alright. I was going to be talking to the librarian there in any case. I could introduce you. This is getting better and better. It's pretty hard to deny her offer. If you're sure, then it'd be great. Thanks. As she stands up to follow me, she takes hold of a straight, retractable cane that had been slipped into the handle of her bag on the floor. Compared to the cane the boy in my class had, Lily's looks much thinner and longer. His must have been for support, whereas Lily's is for navigation. Together, we leave the peaceful room and enter the empty hallways, on the way to the library. Side by side, my pace carefully slowed to match hers. We walk slowly through the hallways. It doesn't take long for us to arrive at the door, to the warm-looking room, apparently situated in the center floor, rather than either wing. Ladies first. She gives an appropriative smile at the gesture, taking a lead as we file in. To the left is a wooden library counter, with the library proper being on the right. It easily dwarfs my old school's library, with a distinct smell of old books giving the place an almost old-world air. There don't seem to be a lot of students here, considering the time. It isn't a big surprise. Everyone's probably either in the school grounds or the dorms. Yuko, are you here? She says it to the thin air since the librarian doesn't seem to be present, and of course Lily can't see this. What's unexpected is that it draws a reaction. Something from under the counter thuds against it, followed by a quiet wail. Ah. The origin, apparently the librarian, quickly crawls out and bounces up to an extremely rigid attention. Hi Lily, how can I help you? Her voice is strange in a failing attempt to sound casual and rubbing the back of her head. Good afternoon. What happened just now? I heard some strange sound. It's nothing, I just hit my head. See, I dropped an eraser under my desk, and while I was looking for it, a pencil dropped, and when I was looking for the both of them, you came in and surprised me. Are you alright? I'm sorry, I couldn't know. It's okay. It's okay. Sorry for making you worry. This is nothing. I've had worse happen to me. She's quick to reverse Lily's apologies, almost frantically trying to push aside the possibility that she could be in any way inconvenienced by bashing her head on the counter. Yes, worse things have happened, hee. The girl fidgets with her fingers as Lily doesn't seem to drop her concerned expression, and then she shuffles some papers around the counter for no reason. A little shorter than Lily, replete with glasses, freckles, and very troubled look, she seems to fit a library perfectly. Lily, did you get my message? Message... Oh, the 2 imported books that arrived? Right, they finally came. I can't believe it took so long, but... Amidst her celebrations, particularly for managing the change of topic, I'm sure, she notices me from the corner of her eye and freezes on the spot when she does. Oh no, I'm sorry for not noticing you before. Did you need to check out a book, or return one? I'm sorry. The way she can so quickly shift between moods is a little unsettling. He's with me. Yuko, this is Hisao, a new student. Hisao, this is Yuko, the school librarian. Pleased to meet you. Hisao, right. Hisao. Pleased to meet you too, Hisao. For a second, she visibly attempts to engrave my name on her mind so she won't forget. Yuko often arranges to import foreign books in Braille for me. Would you like to tell Hisao a little something about the library? Lily's innocent suggestion is met with an expression of abject terror. Please, Lily, I can't. I don't know what he could be interested in. This is too much responsibility. How's it any responsibility at all? I don't get. But her rejection is so sincere, I don't doubt for a second that she would rather disembowel herself on the spot than tell me where the light novels are. But, so there are a lot of books in Braille here? I attempt to save the day by asking the first thing that pops into my head. It seems to work at least partially, as Yuko seems to, not exactly relax, but at least look slightly less tense. Well, I think about a third or fourth of Yamaku's books is either in Braille or audio. Makes sense, given all the blind students that'll be here. If it's only that, how come this library is so big in the first place? Well, we get a lot of new books regularly because the library is adequately endowed. That's probably why. They spend more on new books than my salary, and then I have to organize and shelve all of them. It's so troublesome, and they waste so much. I wish I could quit this job. The very awkward silence follows this revelation of too much information. I'll go check the aisles then, if you don't mind. It's probably the best for all of us if she doesn't keep talking. Very well. Meanwhile, Yuko, I would have those books if it's alright with you. My first impression was right. The library is surprisingly big. Ambling down the narrow aisles, I study the spines of the books in random order, occasionally sliding one out to read the blurb, taking it with me if it looks good. In a few moments, I have a respectable stack of books in my arms. I guess I'll never be stuck for choice here. The normality of the library sinks in. Sure, there are large prints of Braille books scattered throughout, but it is what it is, a library. It's as if the calm mood from this room, I had tea with Lily, snuck in with us here, and unless it was here to begin with. Something about that puts me at ease, just like before. I reach the end of the aisle and find a collection of desks, set up for study or personal reading. Going a little further, though, I discover a nice quiet corner at the back. While the rest of the library has the odd students sitting here at the desk, either reading or stealthily sleeping, the back is pretty much deserted. As I glance around, I see someone who I recognize sitting on one of the several beanbags. It's the dark-haired girl from my class, the one who snuck out of the classroom earlier. She's reading a book, keeping it close to her face, which makes her look like she's really into it. From the way she was acting today, I had her pegged as more of a delinquent than a bookworm. In fact, her mysterious disappearance from the class raises all sorts of whys in my head. Intrigue floats slowly but surely towards the surface, and before I know it, I'm walking towards the mysterious long-haired girl. I guess there's no harm in introducing myself as I would with anyone else. She's a classmate after all. Walking over to another beanbag, I take a seat and lay my books beside it. The girl starts looking scaredly at me from underneath her fringe. This is the first time I've seen her up close. Underneath her long, dense bangs, I can see that part of her face, at least a third of it, if not half, is pretty badly scarred. My eyes are immediately drawn to the scars, subconsciously peeking past her hair until they meet her eyes. For a second, I am shocked and divert my eyes to the book in her hands, before I realize that looking away probably only makes it worse. It takes too many seconds to collect myself and remember what I wanted to talk to her for. What choice do I make here? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. Okay, so about the same. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. It's okay. The girl certainly doesn't look like it's okay, but I let it slide. So, do you mind if I sit here? She seems to be very uncertain whether it's okay or not for me to sit, but finally she nods just a little. Okay. I take the seat next to hers, and she hides herself behind a book. Life of P. Never heard of it. So, sorry again for startling you. I'm Hisao. She looks up from her book, stalling a little before replying. I know. We are in the same class. Her speech is stilted and so quiet that it is barely audible even in a still library. Somehow, I think that my delinquent impression was wrong. Hanako. I'm Hanako. I resist the urge to say, that's a nice name, just to have something to say, but really it's the only thing that I can think of. I feel like an idiot. Everyone here must be used to being different to each other, and here I am being all bothered and fussed about that kind of thing. Don't let me interrupt your reading. I'll just check these books if you don't mind. She nods a little and sighs a little sigh of relief. So I try to read the covers and the introductions of the books I picked up, and she buries her face back in hers. Uncomfortable silence consumes us. My eyes still wander to her direction, and I sneak peeks at her flowing hair and the scars it's hiding. After a while, I realize that she's doing the same and only pretending to be immersed in the life of P. Her gaze is not inquisitive at all, though. It darts around like a scared rabbit. When her gaze finally meets, the chain reaction is unstoppable. She stands up forcefully from the beanbag and takes a deep breath. I've gotta go do something. Without warning, Hanako takes off and runs towards the counter. Her hair-like takeoff catches me so off guard that I don't manage to go after her until she has a good head start. By the time I reach the counter, she is nowhere to be seen. Lily and Yuko are happily chatting away. Knowing that I won't be able to catch Hanako myself, I approach the girls. Hey, did you see or notice a girl run past? Maybe. What does she look like? Long, dark hair, kinda shy. She had, well, some scars on her face. You wouldn't be talking about Hanako, would you? Yeah, that's her. I saw her reading and tried to talk to her, but I think I scared her off or something. Oh dear. Yuko, would you excuse me? I had better try to find her. Sure, I'll just hold on to these until you come back. What's going on? I'm sorry, but I'll have to explain it to you some other time. Right, I'll see you later then. Lily hastily grabs her cane and hurries out the library, leaving me alone with Yuko. I don't think I'll ever get the hang of this place. Did I do something wrong? What did you do? Nothing. I was just looking for some books and then she got this fit and ran off. The most offending thing I can think of was that I might have looked in her general direction a few times. Well, she is a very timid girl. You have to be careful around her. She can be very jumpy, I think, and she's not accustomed to talking with other people. Isn't that a bit strange? I wonder. It's just how she is, I think. Yuko doesn't sound all that convincing. Then again, maybe this is just a norm around here. Everyone has their own problems, or else they wouldn't be here. But how should I deal with these people? Forcing myself to act overly casually only makes me feel phony. Like I was supposed to be ignoring the elephant in the room. Yuko fidgets, looking like she wants to say something to that, but resist it. I think it's an elephant only if you feel that way. I guess she doesn't have a good sense of self-restraint. Makes me smile, and she blushes heavily. What? Did that sound stupid? No, it sounded really wise. I guess you're right. It's more about me than anyone else. Neither of us has anything to add, so Yuko fills the silence by shuffling some papers around. People who have papers on their desk really like doing that. Did you find any books? I should be closing soon. I mean, this library should be closing, but I have to do it. I hope that's not an inconvenience for you. Oh yeah, I want some books, but I left them over by there. I'll just go get them. I fetched my stack of books from besides the beanbag where Hanako and I were sitting and returned to the counter. Wow, you read a lot, don't you? I surprised myself with that too, honestly. At least when I really think about it. I had a lot of free time earlier this year, so I kind of just started reading books to fill that time. I couldn't do much else. I see. But she doesn't say anything else and just checks out my books for me. I guess this is what they call tack. Holding the library books with one arm, I trawl my pocket for the key to the door. A sudden sound from behind startles me, making me nearly drop the books I'm carrying or the key that I almost managed to get into the lock. Who is it? I turn around to see who was talking to me. It's Kenji. He seems to be in a friendly mood, although the light glinting from his eyes, or glinting from his glasses in the dark, gives him a sinister look. It's just me. This makes him pause and licks his lips nervously. Who is me? I don't know anyone called me. Are you some new guy again? His voice is suddenly strained and quick. Yes, but we've met before. Yesterday? I don't think so. I would have remembered someone who I met only yesterday. When was that? What day is it today? I try to ignore him. Is he joking or what? Prove that we met before. You live across the hall. You're Kenji. Kenji jumps back, his eyes filled with uncompromising fear. Or uncomprehending fear. How do you know my name? Damn, this can only mean one of two things. Either we have met, and you were telling the truth, and I just can't remember it, or you're a spy. He pauses. A psychic spy. His eyes dart around me, trying to peek into my room, although it's hard to believe he can see anything through those thick glasses. His mood swung from friendly to manic in just a minute. I'm not psychic. How do I know that? I'm not a mind reader. Kenji points a finger in my face damningly. Unlike you. Stop that, man. We met yesterday. What's wrong with you? I live in this room. Lies. If you can think you can pass this out because I'm legally blind, you are sorely mistaken. You don't even look like him. I mean, the resemblance is real. Real slim. Maybe at a distance. But who do you think you're kidding? I want to grab him by the shoulders and shake him. Exasperated, I rub my eyes and let out a heavy sigh. Stay there. Kenji comes closer, one step close at a time. I stay still, at least he assault me physically, although I doubt he can do much damage even if he did. Oh wait, I see it now. Damn, it really is you. Sighing again, and then once again for good measure, I step backwards just in case. What's up, man? You don't look too good, I think. Something wrong? I don't know, just had something stupid happen to me. A few stupid things, actually, even if you discount this one. I can't get a proper touch on other people here, and I have no idea if it's because of me or because of them. I don't know why I'm telling this to Kenji. It's not like we have any contact either. That's rough, dude. Yeah, sorry about calling you a psychic spy and all that, but you can never be too careful. It's the hard reality we live in. I'm slowly starting to think that Kenji isn't necessarily living in the same reality as the rest of us. You see, this is how it is, this world. There is no justice, you see? Even when I lose, I win, because I don't lose the lesson. What does that even mean? It doesn't matter. He dismisses it flatly, with a wave of his hand. So what happened? Why the long face? Do you have a long face? It's nothing. I just scared some girl off accidentally. Literally, too. She actually ran away from me. It was my fault, really, I think. I'm not really used to all this yet. A girl? A cute one? Cute. That's a hard question. She had a nice body and really beautiful hair, but the face... I guess it could go either way. Okay, what's the next one? Next one is she was cute. Yeah, she was cute. Yeah, cute, I guess. I knew it. There are a lot of cute girls here. A strangely disproportionate amount. I believe this is one of the dark secrets of this school. I tried to warn you, man, but did you listen? I don't remember any such warning. Dark secrets? Yes, dark secrets. Extremely dark, like a black hole. Have you noticed that the number of girls in the school is slightly but significantly higher than the number of boys? It's like 60-40. He turns his head to the left and stares off into the distance at nothing. Why is it like this? I mean, to the untrained eye, it doesn't appear to be that bad. But that's like a full 20%. One would think that a school with such a huge pool of women would be a man's dream, but no. What I am about to tell you could blow your mind. Are you ready? I don't know where this is going, but I think I won't be missing much by cutting out now. No, I am not ready. I only get as far as turning the doorknob before Kenji starts talking again, showing that he doesn't really care if my mind is blown or not. I believe that this school is a battleground, the site of a feminist infiltration. This disparity in the numbers of men to women is a clear sign of how far they have come. In case this Cold War turns hot, they will have superiority in numbers. Just another skirmish in the eternal war against the forces of feminists. They're everywhere. In Japan, women outnumber men, It's not just a 60-40 split, but it's only a matter of time, man. Even in America, women are the majority by a hair. They're building up their numbers in the past. The buildup of a military has already been the clearest sign of intimate war. Japan is just the first step. Our economic... Wow, Jesus Christ. Our economy is badass, and the country itself is small and isolated, yet a huge part of the Pacific in terms of political value. The perfect target. They are so cunning, as expected of women. Soon the day will come when... Kenji's voice trails off ominously. That is why you can't trust them. They will string you along and then kill you, just as they killed me. You will end up just like me. Oh, hell no. I can't stop myself from blurting it out. Hey, what the hell does that mean? You said it, not me. It's the best thing I can think of. So, you're not supposed to say something like that. Damn, so rude. Where was I? Oh yeah, the vast feminist conspiracy. Stop it. Stop. I lost you way back there somewheres. Somewhere around the feminist infiltration. Too hard to follow? It's cool. I have some graphs and stuff in my room. And puppets. You like puppets? No puppets. You don't like puppets. Got it. Graphs are cool though, right? He speaks energetically, responding almost before I'm done talking, moving his hands in an animated way as he continues to rant on. This is too strange. I had him pegged as relatively normal, but it's clear that I was wrong. Something on your mind, dude? Just thinking about what it's like to be the last sane man in an insane world. Kenji frowns, looking deeply upset. You mean that's you? That can't be, because I'm the last sane man in an insane world. That is my dream. You can't just steal a man's dream. What the hell? There can't be two last sane men. It would invalidate the whole last part, and that part is kind of important. There can only be one. Like in the foreign movie where you could only be one, and in the end there was only one dude left because that was the point. I have never seen anyone talk so heatedly and so defensively about absolutely nothing before. Anyways, if you wait here, I can get my graphs. I also have a list of other dark and complex conspiracies that the school holds. As tangled as... Quick, finish my analogy for me. Be a pal. I'm gonna go to bed now. It's extremely late. That doesn't sound like an analogy, but whatever. I like you. Seem like a cool dude. Most people don't understand what I'm talking about when I try to explain the vast feminist conspiracy to them. Denial is a terrible thing. Later. He clasps me on the back and then vanishes into his room. So quickly and quietly, it's like he didn't even open the door, but instead just phased right through it like a ghost. I don't know if I can fully digest what just happened there, so I give up and just go to my room, kicking off my shoes before falling face first into bed. It takes me some time to relax and get up so I can get started on homework. It's because the sheets are cool and comforting against my cheek. It feels good just lying there with my eyes closed. This school is like some kind of bizarre and surreal island. It's isolated on top of a mountain, and each person is stranger than the last. I just can't seem to fit in. What irony one would think that fitting into a place that's made for people who are unfit for anywhere else would be. Maybe I'm trying too hard. Although I say that, it doesn't help take the edge off, and the words are left echoing off my empty walls. I guess it's not as bad as I expected, though. This place really is more a school and less a hospital pretending to be a school than I thought it would be. If nothing else, the scenery is beautiful. I open one eye, seeing the school books and bottles of pills arranged side by side on my desktop. Maybe this place is too much like a normal school after all. Damn, I can already tell my voice is gonna be like dead tomorrow. I feel very tired this morning, probably because yesterday itself was a very tiring day. On top of that, I woke up far earlier than necessary. After saying hi to Shizune and Misha, I start doing the work as instructed from the board. It already looks like today is going to be heavy. I don't have a problem with that now, though. Shizune and Misha might jump on me trying to get an answer about whether or not I've decided to join the student council, even if it's just one day. I wouldn't put it past them to try, and I don't have an answer for them if they do, so this situation is convenient for me. About 10 minutes into class, Hanako walks in and takes a seat. but no one looks at her. The teacher doesn't even comment on her lateness. He does, however, stops us to say that we're going on a break into groups, or that we're going to break into groups. Okay, gang, how is no one came? Good question. I guess technically this is my second stream of the day today. A lot of the other people like Cal and stuff, they've been pretty busy lately, so they haven't been able to come in as frequently as they used to. I'm just happy that I'm back up into the 200s now. I was so pissed when I reached 200 and then someone unfollowed and then I went back to 199. It is a test week for me, gang. Oh, rip. Although, honestly, I'd rather be back in school than have to deal with being an adult. I turn my head to see that Shizune and Misha are looking at me. Shizune gives me a smile that is equal parts cute and menacing. This is a smile that says, "We have you now, there is no escape." Hick-chan! It looks like we're together again. Yay! Misha leans sideways while Shizune pushes her desk closer to mine. There really is no escape now unless I were to jump through the window. Jumping out the window isn't the best option, sadly. What's wrong, Hick-chan? Oh, Hick-chan, have you been thinking about what we said the other day? You said that you would think about joining the student council, didn't you? It's okay, Hick-chan. We were talking about it after you left, and it would be rude to expect you to already have an answer for us this early, right? Ha 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 ha. I'm so happy you two are able to have a laugh at my expense, and even more pleased to know that you both know how crazy the two of you can be. Now that that's over, Shizune snaps back into serious mode and smacks today's assignment with the back of her hand in an overly dramatic and important way. When I actually look at the stuff, it's mostly just reading. In fact, there are only 2 problems. I almost want to say something about how her rush to get started seems a bit much, considering the small amount of work. In fact, Shizune probably knows how little there is and simply doesn't care. Yeah, it seems like a workload doesn't matter to her as much as the fact that there is work. The actual amount is unimportant. She approaches everything with the same level of ambition. While I'm reading, I let my eyes wander around the room and catch Hanako trying her hand at solving the problems. It looks like she's working alone. I can't remember seeing her working with other people before. Thinking back to how shy she is, it's understandable. Hey, that girl over there. Huh? Who, Hick-chan? Her. Hanako. Over there. Does she always work alone? I think so, Hick-chan. Do you feel sorry for her because she's alone? I was just thinking that maybe she could work with us or something. No. I don't think that would be a good idea, Hick-chan. Why not? Shik-chan wouldn't get along with her. Why? Misha shuffles around the question, letting out a laugh that sounds very strange. It's nervous, but still has that uplift that... What the fuck is that word? Lilitting up and down quality present in everything she does. Oh, ill-litting maybe? Just because, Hick-chan. By now, Shizune has noticed our conversation, and it makes me realize again how Misha has been signing everything she has been saying this whole time. What, Shik-chan? The friend of my enemy is my enemy? That sounds so harsh. I'm not gonna say that. You said it anyways. I know, Hick-chan. It's fine with you over here. I wonder if this is Misha's way of keeping things fair, since without her, I want to be able to understand the things Shizune is saying, and vice versa. Is that also why she signs all the time, so there is never a conversation Shizune will be left out of? Anyways, we should start on our problems now, Hick-chan. We finished with time to spare, and I decided to ask if there are any alternatives to the cafeteria, as frankly, the food so far has been subpar. This sends Shizune and Misha arguing amongst themselves about their favorite restaurants. All of them are downtown, so I don't think we have time to go all the way there, and what about the bill? Are they arguing just for the fun of it? Maybe. They seem so distracted by it, and they don't even notice the start of the actual lunch break. I look over my shoulder towards the back of the classroom. She seems to be studying her notes from the previous class. It's an odd sight. Everyone else in the class is busying themselves with the lunch break. Socializing, gossiping, rearranging desks. The ones with actual boxed lunches mixed in and chattering like everyone else, only interrupted by short bouts of eating. But when I watch Hanukkah, it feels like I'm the only one who can see her, almost as if she was invisible, sort of hiding in plain sight. Is she being bullied? Is she isolating herself from the rest of the class on her own accord? I see her look over her shoulder towards the classroom rear door. Come to think of it, she hasn't turned a page since I've started watching her. I guess she's waiting for someone. What to do? I think I need to wait for... Yeah, I think the next one was wait for Shizune and Misha to come up with a decision. I need to take a drink, though. It's getting to that part where my throat is starting to get sore. Because we did just stream Persona 4 for like 5 hours earlier today. These Katawa Shoujo streams are usually pretty short because they just take a toll on my voice. Alright, wait for Shizune and Misha to come to a decision. Misha and Shizune are still arguing about their choice for lunch place. Incomprehensible for a pair of high school students who have to take a taxi at least to make it downtown and back in time. Haven't you finished already? Oh, sorry, Hicks-chan. Were you waiting for us? You don't have any plans? Plans? For lunch? Well, I don't, so I thought I could hang out with you guys. Misha smiles victoriously at my lack of plans and excitedly translates my response to Shizune. If you don't have anything special planned out, do you want to eat lunch with me and Shik-chan? We're gonna go to town for lunch though. Don't worry, Hick-chan, it's not that far. Sure, I'll come with you. And with that, we leave the classroom. So this is all actually new. I've never actually seen this section. Just around the corner of the hallway, something hits me in the chest with the force of a runaway train. Ouch! Opening my eyes, I see a pair of saucer-like green eyes looking up at me. They belong to the perpetrator, a short girl who bumped into me and has now fallen down the hallway floor. She was wearing a PE uniform and a very worried frown. The former strikes me as a rather strange thing to have on during a lunch break. Most striking than that, though, is that she doesn't have any legs. Or she does, but they're not of flesh and bone. Her pale and very much flesh and bone thighs end in the shins, and feet made of black metallic or plastic-like material. They look disturbingly artificial and unnatural. It almost makes me forget that my chest is hurting. The girl winces a little and rubs her nose and jumps up. Oh man, hey, are you alright? I'm sorry about all that, really. I wasn't looking where I was going and you just came out of nowhere. Sorry. She's looking really apologetic in the hurt puppy way of looking apologetic. I quickly forget about being angry or anything, since hurt puppy dog eyes are my weakness. It's alright, don't worry about it. Ouch. I say that, but there's a stinging pain growing in my chest, and I know that this is about the biggest possible danger for my condition. Don't overexert yourself, don't forget your medication, and most of all, don't get hit in the chest. I try to rub my solar plexus to chase the pain away, holding my breath in an attempt to hear my heartbeat. It seems normal. Hey, should I get the nurse? The worried, high-pitched voice of the girl snaps me out of it. I stare at her for a few seconds dumbfounded, until I realize that I probably looked worse off than what I really was, doubled over myself looking all tense. Damn, I'm overly worried about my heart. No need. I'm fine. Managing to say something in response, I pull myself upright, feeling my sore ribs one last time and take a deep breath. She just knocked the wind out of me. Big time. But it's nothing more than that. You sure you're okay? I hit you pretty hard. It's okay. I said I was fine and nothing's broken. No harm done. That's good. I feel a hand on my shoulder at the same time. The girl's eyes widen in horror. Eep! I don't have time to look behind me because Shizune is already shoving me aside and stomping over to the girl, signing furiously at her. Miss Ibaharazaki, I saw that. Running in the halls is strictly forbidden. Misha translates right on Shizune's tail, but her voice is girlishly playful, not of the divine fury Shizune's arms movements would seem to call for. Sorry, I was just going to get some stuff, and I was kind of in a hurry. You've been told this 1,000 times before. Your reckless behavior endangers other students, and even worse, it's explicitly against the school's regulations. The girl blushes and starts to fidget nervously like a child caught misbehaving. It's so cute, I find myself smiling. I know that. I was just... Make sure that this will never happen again. Although, I'm sure telling you this is futile, and it only causes me further headaches when you choose to ignore the regulations. Got it, Emmy? The small girl sticks her tongue out in response. I gotta go. Teacher will have my head. I promised to help with printouts, but I went running instead. Sorry, I gotta change and everything. Before Misha or Shizune, or I can say anything, she already bolted from where she was a second ago, almost halfway towards the stairwell. Shizune looks like she's about to go nuclear on the spot, so I smile at her in a vain attempt to calm her down. Are you okay, Hik-chan? The, Abazaki girl is always like that, causing trouble to others. You know, I'm pretty certain Shizune want to call me Hik-chan. Never mind, never mind. Yeah, anyways, I'm okay. Just got the wind knocked out of me. That's great, Hik-chan. I wouldn't call that great, but I let it slide this one time. So let's hurry, Hik-chan. To lunch. We promise it'll be great. I'll take your word for it. What kind of place is it? A restaurant or something? It's a tea house, Hik-chan. A tea house? That sounds kind of fancy. Why are you looking at your wallet, Hik-chan? It's okay if you don't have any money. We'll cover for you. That's really nice of you, thanks. It's okay, Hik-chan. After all, we're friends, right, Hik-chan? It's only been 3 days. Are we really friends that quickly? Huh, but hearing that does make me happy. It's only for today, though. And only if you accept right now. Do you want to go, Hik-chan? I start wondering if this is some kind of trap. Is this Misha's suggestion or Shizune's? This is important. I'm still a little apprehensive about the possible motives of the girls whose favorite pastime is a game of world domination. Nah, I'm just being paranoid. Actually, they have grown on me already, and I do have to go to town sometime, so why not now with them? I've never actually been to a tea house before. All my expectations are from what I've seen on them, or about them on TV. But those are period dramas, and those are modern times. It must just be a regular cafe, and they're just calling it a tea house. Either way, I'm curious about that too. So there's another reason for me to join them. Sure. That's great, Hik-chan. That's great. Misha hops up and down briefly to show how happy she is, which causes a few heads to turn towards us. Shizune opts for a polite, tiny clap. That lasts for all about 2 seconds before she goes back to looking stoic as usual. Would it kill you to be a little happier, Shizune? Oh, I wasn't aware that Hik-chan was a king. Shizune pushes her glasses up as Misha delivers her message, totally without sarcasm. I guess it would sting more if she could say it with the intent Shizune meant behind it. So, for once, I'm happy to have Misha as a barrier between us. I'm not telling you to jump for joy because I'm having lunch with you. I'm not that arrogant. She seems to accept this, and we head towards the town for Shizune leading the way. Or with Shizune leading the way, my bad. I wonder if accepting this is gonna just like completely skip like all the other interactions, like the interaction with Rin and like the other characters. I imagine probably not. I feel like that would be really weird if it did. Actually, let me check the other options real quick. I'm not seeing anything about the art class or anything like that. So maybe it does really just skip like the like latter half of the game if I just go with Misha and Shizune. Watching her walk in front of me, I noticed that she walks very quickly, taking long, heavy, determined strides. Maybe if we were traveling through a snowstorm it would make sense to walk like that, but it's a perfectly clear day. Anyway, it's making me feel exhausted just watching her. We arrive at the tea house in what Misha says is record time, likely because of Shizune's blazing pace. I feel a little let down seeing that it's not a huge, feudal-era building with mats on the floor and women in kimonos pouring tea. It is actually more like a cafe, as I thought. Not that it's a bad thing. It looks very nice. As soon as I walk through the door, someone zooms in front of us, as if they had been lying in wait the entire time. Welcome. Thank you for patronizing this establishment. The top half of her body drops forward in a bow that looks like an axe chopping through wood. I'm surprised to see it none other than Yuko, the librarian. Hey, I didn't know you worked here. Oh, yes I do. I'm a waitress. I've been working here for 1 year, 6 months, and 2 weeks now. Thank you for choosing to come here. Is there anything I can do for you? Hi, Yu-chan. Hello. Misha, you both know her too? Of course, Hik-chan. Yu-chan works in the library after all. I don't go there often myself, but Shik-chan knows her. And we both come here a lot, so it's like we see her all the time. Yes. Should I get your usuals? And if there's anything you would want, please feel free to tell me anything. You don't have to be so formal, we all know each other. It's also pretty empty today, so she can afford to take it easy. I was hoping she would stop looking so nervous, but my words have the opposite effect. No, I'm a waitress. This is my job. I have to do it properly. Okay, that works for Shik-chan. Yu-chan, please get Shik-chan what she usually gets, and I'll get some green tea with milk and honey. No pressure. Yes, but this is my job, and there is always pressure. I'm sorry, I'm arguing with a customer. Sorry. Yuko takes another 100-mile-per-hour bow. I decide to give up and join Shizune and Misha at the table. As soon as I sit down, Yuko comes by, looking even more upset than before. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, I forgot to take your order. I am not attentive to customers, that's not right. I'm sorry. If there is anything I can do to make it up for you, please tell me. It's okay, Yu-chan. Hik-chan didn't order anything, so it's not your fault. Don't be upset. It's true, I guess. I should order now. But I don't really know what this place serves, and there doesn't seem to be a menu. Yeah, she's right. I'll have some coffee and a sandwich, if you have one. Whichever sandwich you think is the best tasting one here, because Shizune is paying for my meal. Shizune frowns. It gives me an alternating look of surprise, indignation, and bemusement, unable to decide between the three. Hik-chan, just how much money do you have in your wallet? It can't be that little, right? Right? We should split the cost 3 ways to make it fair. Yeah, I don't accept anything else. Misha turns to Yuko. Yu-chan, Shik-chan says she wants 3 of whatever is the most expensive item on the menu. No. Haha, just kidding, Hik-chan. Okay, I think that the turkey sandwich is the most delicious sandwich. And it comes with free soup. A good employee would try to recommend the item that there is the most of, though. Or the most expensive item. Am I bad at my job? No, that sounds good. I'll have that and some coffee. Okay. But he's not going to say how he wants his coffee? I feel like that would actually be the hardest part of this, is like the coffee. She comes back a few minutes later with her drinks and my sandwich. Shizune seems to be fine with just her tea, while Misha also ordered a parfait. I don't know why, because I can't imagine many other things that would go worse with tea. Oh well, I take a bite of my sandwich. It's very good. Hik-chan, have you thought about joining the student council? Huh? Don't talk with your mouth full, Hik-chan. I washed my food down with a sip of coffee, which is also surprisingly good. But now it's not time to remark on how this place has a good food. You said you understood it was too early to expect me to make a decision this quickly. That was like 3 hours ago. A man should be decisive, Hick-chan. You really should join the student council, Hick-chan. Come on, it'll be fun. People always say come on, it'll be fun about things that are never ever fun. Don't you believe me, Hick-chan? Is it Shizune saying that or Misha? What a cute expression, but the effect is somewhat jarring, like she has a split personality. Hick-chan, that's depressing. We just want to spend time with you. That's right, Shik-chan. Yeah, that's a good point too. Yep, this is beneficial to everyone. It solves all of our problems. Yeah, I also thought Hick-chan would appreciate it. That makes me sad. Suddenly, I feel really left out. It's rude to talk about someone without letting them in on the conversation. Suzune adjusts her glasses, laughing to herself. But it's true, Hick-chan, and you would be helping us out. Membership has been really low this year. How low? That's a secret, Hick-chan. No, I want to know how low it is. How low is your low? 5? Lower? Well, 0? Wahaha, Hick-chan, that isn't important. What matters is that the number is low, and that is why we would appreciate you giving us a hand. Especially with the festival coming up soon. And it's looking to be a busy year ahead in general. So you're not going to answer my question? No. I sigh and straighten up in my chair, trying to look as defiant as possible because this seems like a big issue and I do not want to let it go that easily. I feel silly, like a blowfish. Fine, at least tell me this. How many people are in the student council total? Well, Hick-chan, we're definitely undermanned, but we have enough members to get the job done. It's not just the two of you, is it? Haha, Hick-chan, that's funny. But it's definitely not just us. Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure? Yep. I stare at them both, trying to see if they will slip up and confirm my worst fears. Misha frowns, looking uncomfortable, but that's probably because I'm staring at her. Shizune, on the other hand, returns my gaze with one of her own. Maybe she is challenging me, peering at me over the rims of her glasses like that. So teasing and surprisingly immature, like a girl beckoning someone to play with her. Hick-chan, your two cute student council representatives have been trying to make you feel welcomed, and are even treating you to lunch. You should show your gratitude by joining the council so that you can at least help them out. Yeah, it would be great if you could just file some papers for us, and the festival is coming up, and we have to build some stalls for the games and foods. Just a few, so if there were, it would be a lot easier for us. Please, Hick-chan? What an interesting good cop, bad cop routine. I'll give it a shot, why not? Just a shot. Okay, I'll give it a trial run. It doesn't mean I'm joining or anything definitive. Just that I'll help out a little, and then I'll see. And this makes us even for lunch. I'm not doing this because I want to. I finish off the last of my sandwich, and this makes Misha notice for the first time in a while that she has a parfait. She starts digging in, much to Shizune's chagrin? I don't even know what that word means, because I can tell from the way she plays with her fingers that she had a lot to say. Every time I look at Shizune, she looks back with such focus and intensity. This time is no exception. Her face is expressionless. Maybe she is thinking. Eventually it gives way to a smile. She sighs something, and obviously I can't understand it at all. She has to know that, then she does it again. A childish playfulness showing through her in the speed and the energy of the gesture. Oh my god. I could feel that burp coming up as I was speaking. If I thought I was actually just gonna barf there for a second. Misha, what did she say? Misha looks up from her parfait, torn between wanting to help out and going back to eating. What does this mean? I try my best to make the same motions with my hand that Shizune did. I come to realize quickly that this isn't very easy. Imagine doing this all day, as your only means of communication. Sorry, Hikchan, I can't tell you. Why not? Is it an insult? No, Hikchan, I can't tell you because it means something nice. Something nice, huh? Well, they've gone back to their tea and food, so I guess this conversation is over for now. I don't really understand, but this makes me wish that I could. Maybe I can even try learning sign language. This school might have a few courses for it. Would I really do that? I think about it as I finish the rest of my coffee. I wonder why I'd even be motivated to think about it. I'm enjoying myself so much that I don't even notice that we're supposed to be back in class 10 minutes ago. Even if I were to start heading back to school right now, it would take at least 30 minutes. Maybe. I can't risk running fast with my condition, so it would take at least longer than that to get there. Well, 10 minutes late already as I am, it wouldn't matter even if I could teleport. Something wrong, Hikchan? I just realized lunch break ended 10 minutes ago. It's only my third day and I'm already going to miss class. Yep, you're already late. Hey, that's not funny. So are you. And aren't you two the student council? You're setting a bad example. Hikchan is so moral. But Hikchan is right. He is late for class, and it looks like you're cutting too, Hikchan, because you're not making an effort to go. As your student council representatives, we're going to have to do something about this and make sure you're punished for it. But you two dragged me out here. This is all your fault. Take responsibility. Hikchan, we were just taking a prospective student council member out to try and recruit him. It's business. But you're not a member of the council, so there's no excuse. Yes, there is. That prospect student council member is clearly me. Yes, are you going to join the student council, Hikchan? Shizune raises her teacup haughtily and wags her outstretched pinky finger and up and down. Hikchan, if only you were a member of the student council, but you can still join now, Hikchan. If you join now, you won't be in any trouble at all, and we'll be able to take more nice excursions like this all the time. It'll be fun. I start to think that maybe this was all an elaborate setup leading to this moment. Maybe Shizune lured me out here, banking on the possibility that I lose track of time and be forced into this situation. Diabolical. Well, considering what I know of her, I should have been more on my guard, but to admit that I got myself into this, even slightly, would be unforgivable. I try to read Shizune's intentions in her eyes, but she just returns my stare blankly, innocently. She takes a sip of tea like she's mocking me. By the way, Hikchan, I didn't plan this at all. Things just happened to work out this way. I was almost about to drop my theory as paranoia, but this puts a new spin on things. I almost fall over in awe. So it really was an elaborate setup from the very beginning. All just to burn me and force me to join the student council. Ha 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 ha. You look so nervous, Hikchan. Do you really think we were tricking you this whole time? You're not? Hikchan, you really thought... Misha frowns, looking heartbroken. Shizune quickly frowns as well, following her lead. How synchronized. Two of a pair. They must be twins. Hikchan, she says she's flattered, Hikchan, but doing that kind of thing would be a grossly inappropriate abuse of power, an opposing of your free will. And it would be blackmail too. Hikchan would never do anything like that. Never. I think about asking Misha, are you sure, but resist the urge to. Anyway, Hikchan, what Hikchan said is true. Since you're with us and we're doing student council work, it's okay if we miss a class or two. Not that this is a good excuse to do so. Or one that should be used more than 3 times a month. Or something that can or should be abused. So, we must definitely return to class eventually. Wahahaha. Shizune waves Yuko over and points to her empty teacup, indicating that she wants another one. As Misha scrambles to find her parfait, she can order something else. Maybe I should as well. I am still hungry, and the portions here are a little on the small side. Most importantly, Shizune is paying for everything. With that in mind, I asked Yuko for another sandwich. By the time we leave the tea shop, I miss not just 1 class, but 2. Shizune and Misha seem content to let the whole day pass by, stalling for even more time by suggesting a tour of the town that turns out to cover a 2-block radius from where we started. Eventually, we do go back to school, and the rest of the day is business as usual. When classes are over, Shizune and Misha pack their bags and leave the room before me. Come to think of it, this is the first time they've left me alone. It's strange. I almost missed them. The room empties quickly and I'm the last one out the door. When I try leaving the lobby, however, an arm lowers itself in front of me like a toll bridge gate, stopping me in my tracks. Oh, hi Shizune. A pair of hands from behind cover my eyes, followed by a sharp burst of laughter. Hi Hik-chan, guess who? Misha asked the question completely without sarcasm, meaning she doesn't think that I instantly knew it was her for many obvious reasons. Oh boy, I wonder who it could be. Well, it's definitely not Misha. Haha, it is. Misha swings around to stand in front of me beside Shizune. Hik-chan, are you busy right now? Busy going to my room. Yeah, see you two tomorrow. I try to make a break for it, but Shizune is too agile to get past. As someone who used to play soccer, this is embarrassing. Not to mention that this behavior is drawing some odd looks. I should just quit while I'm ahead. Hik-chan, could you please go upstairs and get a few things for us from the art room? Why me? Haha, Shik-chan thinks that if the art teacher sees us, he will say hi and she doesn't like him. Ignore him. She tried, but even though Shik-chan is deaf, he'll try to say hi anyways. Run away? Oh, yo, maybe I do like Shizune. She doesn't like the art teacher either. When I was doing Rin's story, the fucking art teacher was such an asshole. Dude just seems like an absolute creep, but I mean, I guess that's maybe just most people that are in the art business. For some reason, I imagine that, like, very artsy people are kind of like the same people that you would see in Hollywood. I never run. A tone of finality so strong that I can pick it up even through Misha. I can see there is no pursuing this further with Shizune. Misha, why can't you get them? Stairs make me dizzy, Hik-chan. Shizune nods as if to confirm it. Please, Hik-chan, we need these things to build stalls for the festival, and you said you would help out a little, right? Right? I really shouldn't, but I guess just this once would be alright. Okay. That's great, Hik-chan. Thank you. This is what we need. She holds out a piece of paper for me to take. I'm sure this list was made by Shizune. It's handwritten, but each letter is perfectly formed and uniform, as if it were typed. Not just that, but it's exhaustingly detailed, complete with numbers, bullet points, and even little checkboxes. What it boils down to is that she wants paints, paintbrushes, poster boards, and an easel. Just different types of specific numbers of each. I wonder how I'm going to carry all this stuff down the stairs without breaking my neck. The classroom's closets to ours are designated belonging to class 3-1 and 3-2 on the right side, and 3-4 on the left side, each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms that I didn't think were used for classes. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. I carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept or not in use. Am I in the right place? Desks and chairs are all around the room. A thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corner, so at least it looks like the right place. The room is flushed in sunlight from the big windows, shadows creeping all over the desk. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anyone home? Something catches my eye as I stop mid-sentence. Sitting on the desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform with a fork between her toes, a morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. This odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me aback even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in the corner very still, but I still somehow took her as part of the furnishing or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with those huge eyes like a rabbit in the headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering I didn't finish my sentence and trying to think of if I should. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned in the silence. punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. I do so good, but then there's one word I always just fumble on. Hello. The girl stuffs the fork full of food in her mouth, and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello. I was told to pick up some supplies from here, for some festival stalls, I think. I didn't think there would be someone else in here. There isn't. That's why I came here too. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're in here then? She raises her eyebrows as if she's suspecting my observation was false. You are pretty observant. I guess it does. But who are you? This girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I am Naki, Hisao Naki. I just transferred in on Monday. I'm Rin. Tazuka Rin. Rin Tazuka. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. It kind of bothers me. Joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. While I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and whether this girl is, she seems to have lost interest in me and is now gazing yearningly back at her food. Can I continue my lunch? If you don't mind me, I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are in the back. Go right ahead, but lunch? School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There is no word for a meal you eat after lunch, but before dinner, right? It really bothers me too, but I don't really know what I should say. I don't think you were supposed to eat a meal before lunch and dinner, to begin with. But I'm hungry now, and my delicious boxed lunch would go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes, and with at least as much impoliteness, she points it straight at me. So, Naki, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school. From outside you look fine. Is your problem inside? I come to a full stop, opening my mouth but not getting a word out. I can guess. I'm good at guessing. Better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer her question, or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I froze in front of the issue again. I haven't even told anyone about my condition, or maybe it's because it hasn't really came up yet. I do get the feeling that not making an issue of it is part of the social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances, or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overtly contemplative look on her face. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other. I don't think it's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be boringly ordinary, like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. The problem must be in your pants. This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement and the sheer lack of tact it was delivered with catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back even physically as Ren's eyes widen in revelation and astonishment. So I was right, there is something wrong with your tackle, isn't there? Still partially in shock but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing that I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem, arrhythmia. I said it. More like blurted it out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous. What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down? I forgive you. Just like collect people and a person with, you know, that kind of problem would have been really great. Collect people? People with different problems. So you just, like, go around asking what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. With little left to say, Rin resumes her lunch and the conversation dies away, but I kept thinking about what she said. It's the first time I had told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already, or heard about it from someone else. Or didn't need to know about it, like every other student here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of my introduction? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Hasao. I have a serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us. What a disgusting thought. Although this is also the same person that's like, literally earlier, just like, oh, I don't want to go to a disabled school. What? A school with a 24/7 hospital? That's what a disability is. Only took like 3 days for him to make a come around. But I do know the obvious answer is that the story is written by like multiple people. So I think like one of the things that I find the most unique about this is I mentioned it before. I believe each like character story has been written by like a different individual. And so that's why stories like Rin's are so like that's why Rin's story is like insanely good compared to someone like Emmy. Cuz like they obviously they had these established characters and then they have all these different writers coming in to like make stories for these characters based off of their personality and like the small description that the creator of the game had probably drummed up for them. And then it was pretty much up to the writers to like take the initiative and to like create a scenario for them. And I think that's why you see so many vastly different like stories in this game, where a lot of them are like some can be vastly like better or just worse than others. But the person that did Rin's story is amazing. It's just a shame that the person that also did Rin's story is basically like a recluse and has like almost zero presence on the internet. Because like there was a point where I was looking up the different authors between like all these stories and stuff to see if they've ever done anything else outside of Katawa Shoujo. And though obviously like my first playthrough was the Rin playthrough. And yeah, there just wasn't like a whole lot of information out there. Or maybe this Tazuka girl just has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens up to study Rin from the corner of my eyes. Her hair is in burnt auburn, almost orange, and cropped short. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and the lack of arms make her look very thin and scrawny. She is not particularly pretty except for her murky green eyes, which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs, even when she eats. The distance and the shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within, like deep wells. She moves her feet almost as daftly as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can see how this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating. Makes me feel a bit uncomfortable at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabinets for shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So, do you always eat alone or in this late? Or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors? Maybe you're my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh. And that's all I can think of to say. Both of us fall silent again as Rin forks the last bite of her meal to her mouth. I look down at my haul and double-checked it with Misha's list. It seems like I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obligated to stay. I was about to take a nap anyways. You need to do whatever you're gonna do with that stuff anyways, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping. Not sure what to make of this, but Rin looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll catch you around, Tazuka. You can call me Rin. I feel that our relationship at this point is good enough to warrant this much. I was already turning to make an exit, but she draws me back in. Fine. Then I'm Hasao. Then you are. Rin looks at me in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple of times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There is something like a tiny smile on her face, maybe. I quietly back out of the room. As I shut the door in front of my face, I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that. What did she hear? I jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she had gotten the jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theories about global feminist conspiracy, but I push that thought aside. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No, wait, more importantly, who is in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to carefully peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyways. What are you doing here? You took so long that we had to come check what's wrong. That's no good, Hikchan. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Oh, sorry. I got the things here, was just gonna bring them. I think you were up to some mischief, Hikchan. Who was in there with you? I wonder. Misha signs something quickly to Shizune, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she's experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders, from suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning the sign furiously to Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on top of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Hello. Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door, and takes a few eye blinks to realize that she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with a half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello. I don't know why I always give Rin that so depressed, like, hello. I don't know, it's just how I imagine she would actually say hello. Man, I miss Rin though, she's such a good character. Ms. Tazuka, what do you think you were doing? You absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such, disgraceful activities. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune/Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyhow, how's your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them, blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Suzune's cold stare is putting on her. I kept wondering about that myself, too. And? We'll think about it harder. As Misha sighs her reply to Shizune, whose face turns into an unsatisfied frown. Miss Tazuka, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't, not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true though, I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. It's the end of the world as we know it. I am about to ask what project she has and what these apocalyptic consequences are, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint can doesn't fit in my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being a gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. What do you want me to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off down the hallway, me with the paint can following since there's little choice for either of us. The hallway is quiet and empty now with Shizune and Misha gone, so we two leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps I have to change the can from one hand to another because the thin handle cuts into my palms. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching, or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast. I can't figure out which is which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Naki, what a happy coincidence. Tazuka, too, of course. He nods courteously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, then turns to me because obviously it's me he has business with. There's something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medications. Since you haven't been that long on your current medication, there might be some unexpected side effects, which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. So we will do a few tests regularly, but what I want for you is to keep an eye on everything in your condition. That feels off, if you get what I mean. Nausea, headache, anything. And come see me if something happens. Alright. So how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can to the floor before answering him. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here. My parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and both the student base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling that I'm getting. And this is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers down my spine, but I give a generic answer anyways. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been neither at the school track nor the pool, so I'd like to know if you've been taking up exercises as I asked. Of course I haven't, but his way of inquiring gives me a feeling that I should have been running my ass off on the track since the first day. You had people spying on me? Not as such. I just happen to know a few people, but that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift the can up and down a few times, like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down my arms painfully. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back with like it was never gone. Tazuka, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you are still on your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise me that you'll be more serious from now on? Yes. Yeah, I promise. Definitely. He studies me for a moment, then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy who probably has no qualms offering consolation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consolation? See you around. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting idly, leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? Comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's none of her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulder quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. Sigh. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there is some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're from my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a while longer, and she neither says anything further nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm not quite used to all this. At the hospital it was easy, but I still haven't sorted out my feelings about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building and Rin leads us onwards towards the dorm. We stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on the slightly elevated ground, with a wall and a few trees that everyone has circled around every time they come or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design of the school. The entire wall, made of the same kind of bricks as the building itself, has been covered with some sort of painting. Most of it is just mere sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against the gray plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seems to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground, besides the wall. See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. Then it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from my art class are helping with the negative spaces and base surfaces whenever, which is a problem. It's easier to paint big areas if there are a lot of people with hands. The reach is better, and it's faster too. She goes on a tangent of a tangent, waving a little with her arms, or whatever is actually there, to demonstrate even though I got the point already. With the white cottons of her sleeves flapping around, it makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of a student base. Special Priorities has it in the past few days. This girl doesn't notice my dreary feeling, of course, or the fact that she lost me a while ago, and just keeps blabbering on. So that's why I'm trying to figure out if there is something I need to figure out, and then figure out that before it's too late and all hope is lost. Why would the hope be lost? Because paint has to be painted, and then it has to be dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. She finally stops, apparently thinking she made some kind of statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So this is your project? You did this? Yes. All of it? Yes. Nice, but... I stumbled with my words, suddenly feeling like I walked straight into a minefield of political incorrectness. It's okay, you can say it. I probably won't get mad. I blushed really hard. I didn't really know what to say, what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels like I'm way more sensitive than Rin is, though. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without hands? See, I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet. I almost guessed that already, but isn't it hard to do? You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is, but maybe I'm used to it by now. I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she was at using her feet to eat, I figure painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us has anything more to add to the subject. The afternoon light works really well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it looked like in dim light. Do you think it's flat? Well, paintings tend to be flat. Not like that flat. You know, flat, like some people are, no substance, no meat, where there should be some. I know a few girls who... Okay, I get it. But I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. I can't name any artists or artistic terms. So I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at that, saying suit yourself without saying it, and looks up at the sky as if trying to look for something up there. I don't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you gave me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp, like the ones they have in those sports tracks, but there aren't any. Rin sure is quick to recruit my help, as was Shizune. It really makes me feel that the festival is a bid project, that every pair of hands is needed. Why not? I'm not sure if I can be any help, though. It's just mixing some paints. You can do that. Probably. Do you have motor control problems? Like, you know, those people who have some? Cerebral palsy, maybe? Not that I know of. I get it. Hard thinking has nothing to do with that. She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up the wide brush between her toes and bare feet. I open a few of the cans and pour some of the contents into the shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl like syrup. I mix them, creating funny hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that melt quickly in each other to form a new monotone hue. Rin sets to work, every now and then asking me for a hand with something or the other. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paints to be the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precision down to the last millimeter before she is satisfied, but her instructions are obscure at best. Add half a splash of green. I crouch down to pick up the can of bright green. The other green, this green. I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl. No, that's almost a whole splash. More white. Is green a good color to add? No idea. You're the artist here. A hint of smile appears in the corner of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? No, it's just that I have no idea. It's okay, because I just got an idea. Add more white. With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter. That's good enough. It has to be like the color you wake up and you know that you saw the meaning of life in your dream, but you just can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow. Despite the impossibility of mixing a color like the change of seasons or any other nonsense that's being imposed on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Man, it is always like crazy going back through these. And I said this with Emmy's story too. It is so crazy when you replay this game and like seeing how happy Rin used to be before I ruined her life. Well, I guess I didn't necessarily ruin her life. We did get the good ending. But yeah, Rin's story is so fucking depressing. Seeing a painting being bored on the plastered wall feels like magic. I spend the moments I have between mixing paints crouching down on the pavement and just looking at her work. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Rin doesn't seem to mind at the very least. Maybe it's just in my head. Her entire presence emits a completely different air as she patiently works the details, adding layers of paint on top of other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paints, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing the paint mixtures, neither of us says a word for the longest time. And even those short discussions soon evolve into a shorthand, both of us developing and using weird impromptu code words for various paints and hues. As if there was some need to converse words and breathe in sound. We stay there late into the evening until it becomes too dark to paint. I need another drink. Oh, good, it's done. I know I haven't finished all the stories yet, but definitely as of currently, Rin is probably still my favorite. The sound of an alarm pulls me out of a fitful slumber and into the unpleasant state of a wakefulness. I linger under the blanket for a few minutes, gathering energy to rise up while making excuses as to why I haven't already. Honestly, I wouldn't mind staying here all day. School is surprisingly exhausting after a long pause, and the culture shock still has not faded, I think. Still, despite getting an impression that skipping class is easy here, I don't think they're going to let me get away with it that easily. And the nurse is bound to keep breathing down my neck with the talk of exercising as well. So eventually I do rise up, swallow the morning medication, and put on my old soccer clothing. Thanks to my condition, I was exempted from taking part in gym classes at Yamaku, so I didn't get issued a gym outfit. I'd order some to cover such a contingency, but wearing my old soccer clothes is kind of nostalgic. I can't use them for that anymore, so maybe they can get a new life this way. A bit like me. After all, if I'm going to start taking care of myself, I can't afford to slack around. I'll start at the basics. Basics which include keeping the rest of my body in shape, along with what little I can do to strengthen my heart. Maybe then I can go back to something approaching a normal life, or at the least, something where I'm less likely to fall over dead any minute. I'm surprised to discover that I'm not the only person at the track. Not just that, but it's a face I've seen before. The prosthetic-legged girl who bowled over me in the hallway yesterday is running on the track lively, like a half-mechanical gazelle. What was her name again? It was a short one, but I can't remember. She seems to be running laps at a somewhat easy lope, her prosthetic legs clacking rhythmically against a hard surface. I wonder what reason she has for running this early in the morning. Maybe it's something akin to mine, and the nurse is oppressing the poor girl to jog like he is pressing me. I certainly wouldn't be here if it weren't for my health, and his prompting me to do so. And even with things being like they are, it's only because I wanted to get out of the way early. The fact that I would be less likely to encounter someone who would witness my pitiful attempts to get in shape was merely a happy accident. I'd leave, but it seems that my former assailant noticed me on her last lap. She waves at me cheerfully and jogs over. Good morning. Your name is Hisao, right? She grins, seemingly pleased as she remembered my name. You may not remember me. Emmy, I knocked you over in the hall yesterday? Miss Ibazaki? She imitates Misha's imitating Shizune, failing to get the same kind of subdued lip in her high